So, man, we are back as of right now on the Undisputed GOAT podcast. Couldn't catch you on Monday, but you got you on Tuesday. Well, we couldn't catch you on Sunday, so we got you on Monday. In the great words from someone famous, if we can't get you on the wash, we will get you on the rinse. And the rinse is Monday night, man. And look, we got two hellified games going on right about now. We got one in the form of the Washington Commanders versus the Chicago Bears, and we have my Atlanta Falcons versus the great Josh Allen, the reigning MVP. So, man, thus far, I do say thus far, Falcons are doing damn good running that ball, keeping Josh Allen at bay and everything. So it looks good thus far, man, but I want to see what's going to happen in that second half, man. Got to play. Football is 4 quarters. It ain't 50 cents. It's $1. It ain't 50 cents. So you got to be careful in football. Football, the game don't love nobody. But thus far, Bijan Robinson is doing his thing. The running game is working, defense is working, and everything, man. So, hey, everything is going good thus far. But we got a lot to talk about today, man. We got a lot about shout to Dwayne. We got a lot to talk about today, man. But before we do any of that, man, how y'all doing, man?
Doing all right. Just really, really busy this week and this past weekend. So just a lot going on, and a lot going on not only just personally, but in the sports world too. So yeah, just lots and lots of fun going on.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. BRF, the gentleman of Georgia. How you doing, bro?
Man, I got it. I'm doing pretty good, man. You know, life is good. Good. Had a good restful weekend. Lots of football. You know what I'm saying? Hey, just enjoying life right now. Can't complain, man. I'm just ready. I'm ready to get after it, man. This is what we do, man. Like you told him, man. We couldn't catch you on Sunday, but hey, we're gonna come back on the wraparound. We're gonna get you on this Monday, so I'm ready to get in.
Look, man, before we get started, bro, let's just acknowledge something. Saturday, we got spoiled as sports fans, man. Let's just keep it all the way above. We got spoiled as fuck when it came to sports, man, because we woke up Saturday morning to Crown Jewel, the WWE. We watched that all the way up to round 12, and then got into some great college football, some hellified games, Georgia versus Auburn. I mean, is that the most spoiled weekend that we had as sports fans? When you go into Crown Jewel, you got that to start your morning at 8 in the morning, then got to segue right into some good old-fashioned football. Was that a spoiled weekend or what?
Yeah. I mean, hey, I mean, what can you? Yeah, like what can you say, man? You can't ask for nothing better than what we got between Saturday and Sunday. I mean, Saturday, like you said, you wake up 8 in the morning and you get Crown Jewel, which ESPN needed desperately. That was a much better show than WrestlePalooza. They needed Crown Jewel desperately. And Crown Jewel delivered. I mean, and then the college football we got a lot. I mean, lots of good college football. And then you get shout out to the Indiana Hoosiers for getting that win against the University of Oregon. Shout out to them. And I mean, and then in Sunday, all the good NFL games we have, and now we're here Monday night with 2 more quality games. I mean, yeah, this is one of these weekends you definitely dream about as a sports fan. You can't ask for nothing better.
Yes, indeed. What are your thoughts, Flash, man?
This is funny. I had an employee ask me, like, you know, what do you think about having the WWE on at 7 a.m.? And I'm like, this is great. I'm up at 6:30, 7 a.m. anyway. So, you know, instead of just, sitting and watching, I get to sit and watch it in my PJs in the morning with a cup of coffee. So I love it. It rolled right into college football, and then we went right into that, right into the NFL. So it's and then rolling right into Monday, we had Monday Night Raw early this morning. So it's been a really busy, like, it's just been nonstop, constant the whole weekend. So I love it. It's to me, it's like the early London games that they have with the NFL. I love waking up at early and there's already a football game on. So that makes me happy.
Yes, indeed. But let's just get right into it. We was going to start off with a quick hits. We already had something done. But look, man, I'm gonna start off the show with a pipe bomb.
Oh gosh.
Y'all think Tua was wrong for calling out his teammates, man?
The way he's been playing, it's like right message, wrong messenger. The way he's been playing, you don't. I get where he's coming from because there is absolutely no leadership with that franchise. But the way Tua's been playing this year, I don't want to hear that from him because just from the simple standpoint of somebody like him, if he opens his mouth to say something, teammates are going to come out and they're going to call him out. So it's a bad kind of snowball effect. They're already about ready to blow this team up anyway, and you're not really doing them any favors. Yeah. I wouldn't want to hear, not from Tua.
It's weird how we've Mike McDaniel's a hiccup ago was the next hot young coach that that his offense was taking the NFL by storm, and now like BRF said they're going to blow the team up. Look, Tua isn't this isn't Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, where you've earned, Matthew Stafford, like that's something you can do when you've played 10 years in the league and you got 9 Pro Bowls and a couple Super Bowl wins behind you, then you can do that. I think BRF's point is spot on. Like the fact that the quarterback is out there, I don't know. Again, you're right. Right message, wrong messenger. And I feel like if his message isn't hitting, then that locker room is lost. So because the quarterback for better or for worse is the extension of the coach, or should be. And if his message doesn't resonate, then the coach's doesn't either. And that's a problem. And it's weird how Miami in the last has literally gone from just 2 years ago to
shit.
Yeah, no joke. Within a sneeze, they've gone, well, who's going to run this division, Buffalo or Miami? To God, now is it New England?
It's who's getting traded.
Yeah, it's who's getting traded. And Tyreek Hill blew out his knee and he seemed happy about it. And it, but he's a character in and of itself. But I don't know. I've been on the record saying that I'm a Mike McDaniel's fan, and so I'm not really sure. But this is where I'm not going to throw stones where I don't know what's what. But I don't know what's going on with that team. I have no idea. I don't know what happened. Something happened. I just don't know what.
Right message, wrong messenger. But I will say this. Look, out of one mouth, yes, wrong messengers. Out of the other one, you the quarterback. If anybody deserves to call somebody out, it's you. Especially if you're not showing up to meetings. And I would expect either one of y'all, even if something is going wrong with you guys, like if somebody was if we was at work and somebody was always late or something like that, you know what I'm saying? You work in manufacturing, Flash, not to put it out there, but you work in manufacturing. I used to work in manufacturing as well. When you're late in manufacturing, guess what? That throws production smooth the hell off.
Yeah, But I think the thing is like if you have a problem, you don't go out and say something in front of the whole plant.
Okay.
You pull the employee or employees or however you want to make the analogy behind closed doors, and you say your piece. And that's the problem. Like, and this is where I'm saying that the quarterback is the extension of the coach. And if he can't, obviously the message isn't getting across behind the scenes either. So, yeah.
Hey, look. If his play, if they was like 3-1, would his message been well received? Do you think it would have been more well received?
I think they could be like. I think they could be where they're at. What is their record now? They're what, 2-3?
Let me look real quick.
They 1-5.
They picked that off.
Damn.
They picked that off. D Alpha picked that off. Yeah, he caught it.
Did he catch that?
D Alpha caught that.
He did not catch that. That motherfucker caught it. Oh, my bad, guy. I don't want to get us kicked off the air. He caught it. He caught it. Wow.
He damn sure did catch that. Oh my god, he caught that.
Hey man,
that's nice.
Hey, get a quick pass and kick that field goal, baby.
The Dolphins are
okay.
The Dolphins are 1-5.
Damn.
Okay, so they could be. They could. Okay, I'll say this: 2-4, 3-3. 2 is playing well. Like we'll say, you can't blame him for them losing. Maybe you come. Maybe the message will be received a little more. 1-5, and you know, saying they picking him off like nobody's business. He playing like crap. Yeah, no, I don't want to hear that coming out your mouth.
No, but hey, man, look, when you're losing, the message come across a lot more hard, a lot more unsmoother, I will say. But let's get into the quick hits of it, man. Who is the GOAT performer of the week, bro?
GOAT performer of the week. Jackson Smith and Jigba. I gotta go Jackson Smith and Jigba. That dude is on pace to have the greatest season of a wide receiver ever. Like I think like he's on pace for like almost like I think what's the record? Like 19. I can't remember what that record Cooper Cup was, but I think he's on pace for like 1964 or something like that. And it would break the record. Like for me, it's Jackson Smith and Jigba. He had like 117 yards in the first half against Jacksonville. I mean, this dude. I mean, honestly, I've been on the JSN bandwagon since he was drafted out of Ohio State and as a rookie. So I'm honestly not surprised that he's like doing this. And just like there were people saying, you know what I'm saying? The reason why Marvin Harrison is getting all this airtime and getting all this publicity coming out of Ohio State was because Jackson Smith and Jigba got hurt because Jackson Smith and Jigba is a better wide receiver than Marvin Harrison Jr. And they weren't lying. So, you know, for me, it's Jackson Smith and Jigba. What he's been doing in Seattle is just the dude is establishing himself and has already put him in and has already put himself in top 10 wide receiver conversation. The dude is a beast. He's a flat out monster.
Hey.
When we talk GOAT performer of the week, we're talking NFL or just as a whole?
As a whole, anybody, any sport.
Well, I'm going to say Pat Murphy, the manager for the Milwaukee Brewers. I know it's a little bit of a homerism, but I think recognizing your team is getting off to slow starts when it comes to the pitching staff and being a little creative and bringing the closer in right away to start game 5. That's some ballsy GOAT move shit right there, and it worked. So I would say that one would be my GOAT of the week. My runner up, I would probably say,
Run!
This is also
touchdown.
Nope, he's out.
No, he's not.
Oh man,
yeah, his foot touched.
Oh damn,
his foot touched. My runner-up is who I said would be the best running back out of this year's draft. And so far, I think I'm looking like I'm right. And that's Scattaboo for the New York Giants. Little Scoots. So he's my runner-up performer, GOAT performer of the week. 19 carries, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns. 2 receptions, 12 yards. So, pat myself on the back for that one so far.
You know what they call them, don't it?
What?
You know what they call them, don't you?
No.
Scat Pack.
Scat Pat.
Yeah, Scat Pack.
I'm okay with that. I think we need a better name though.
No, Scat Pack. You know what a Scat Pack is, don't you?
No.
Oh damn, you don't know what a Scat Pack is. Scat Pack is one of them fully loaded Dodge Chargers. So yeah, one of them fully loaded Dodge Chargers that's fast as hell. A lot of muscle behind it. Yeah, so that's what they call it, a Scat Pack.
All right. I think we go.
We need to bring him down to Georgia sometime. Yeah. So he can realize what a Scat Pack is.
Yeah,
What they call a Scat Pack.
But look, hey, that was a massive upset with the Giants over the Eagles. So that's my runner-up, honorable mention.
The Las Vegas Aces.
Mm.
The Las Vegas Aces and Asia Wilson going down in history. They beat the hell out of the Phoenix Mercury. They took them down. Didn't waste no time. And Asia Wilson is in GOAT conversations right now.
For WNBA?
Yeah, WNBA right now. So,
I think them conversations over, bro.
What about Maya Moore?
I think Asia Wilson's already the GOAT, bro. I think them conversations over.
Yeah, I don't know how you win all those awards in 1 year, and then you and everything else that she's done. And look, and I'm just I'm a normie, you know. I'm a casual, and so I look at it and I just go, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, yeah, this is honestly arguably the greatest individual season in WNBA history. To win MVP, to win Defensive Player of the Year, to win Finals MVP, and to lead the league in scoring. Basically having a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander type year in the WNBA, with including winning co-defensive player of the year, and the resume that she's already built, and she's not even 30 yet. She's like 28. That's it. She's not even 30 yet.
I mean, you could go ahead. My bad.
No, you're good. I would say Maya Moore's if you're gonna just have the conversation, Maya Moore's in the conversation. I would probably I would put Candace Parker in the conversation. I would put Diana Taurasi in the conversation. And then I think the GOAT talk stop with those four. But I think Asia Wilson is already the greatest WNBA player ever. I think she's already the GOAT. The resume is just ridiculous. I feel like the four league MVPs already is just a tier above everybody else. I think Asia Wilson's already the GOAT WNBA player. I think she's already the GOAT.
Go ahead.
Just to play devil's advocate you could kind of put an asterisk next to the season because of the amount of injuries that were in the WNBA this year. But that's a really weak argument. I'm just putting a really,
be honest with you, I'm gonna just be real. Couple of more minutes go by, the Fever have.
Yeah, I know.
The Fever have. But they just let the game get too far out of control. But the Fever, you had them.
Yeah. It's
just like Lexi Hall makes that 3-point and, Kelsey Mitchell doesn't get hurt. But even when Kelsey Mitchell got hurt, they played even harder. Odyssey Sims, she was playing even harder. So, yeah, the only team that really had a legitimate chance to beat them this year was the Indiana Fever. So,
and that's without Sophie. That's without Caitlin, So, like I said, that's the only argument that I can see against her season this year. But this may be my annoyance, but I saw a lot of posts comparing Asia Wilson's shot to Michael Jordan's last shot against Utah. Like I saw that going around a lot, and I'm like.
I mean, look, when you compare woman to, from woman to man, she's the GOAT of her sport and Michael Jordan is the GOAT of his sport, that is a fair comparison. But you're the Michael Jordan of your sport. I mean, of course, look, whenever somebody, especially in basketball, does something great, you're gonna get compared to Michael Jordan. Hell, I remember when Harold Miner,
Baby Jordan.
Baby Jordan.
Bro just won a dunk contest and wore 23, and it was like, we got the next Jordan, son.
Harold Miner. I mean, they call Michael Finley Baby Jordan because he could dunk. So I mean, but for her to be, it was a big shot. That was a nice shot. Game 3, you're on the road, and this was right after Satu Sabali got hurt. So the unicorn. So yeah. So you was able to get that, and over DeWanna Bonner of all people.
Yeah.
Over DeWanna Bonner and Alyssa Thomas of all people. That will live in infamy forever. Shout out to my boy, Mr. Coleman. George Pickens was playing well, and we'll get into Justin Fields a little bit later. My next GOAT performer of the week. Look, thus far, I say Bijan Robinson. Shit.
Boy.
I mean, look, I know the game's still going on, but still, damn, that was nasty as hell. That was nasty. But Atlanta, just to, I don't mean to be the halftime guy, but, we are in the NFL right about now. Look, Atlanta, you got to keep giving them the ball. Keep doing what you're doing. And look, run Tyler Algier at him a little bit more. Let him bully that defensive line and let him get him tired. And yeah, Drake London having a breakout day. They're cheating up against the line in order to prevent the play, in order to stop Bijan, and they getting killed on the play action. So yeah, you got to keep this up. To my surprise,
I would get Kyle Pitts would have a field. If I'm the head coach, if I'm Zach Robinson, the second half, Kyle Pitts would have a field day in the second half.
Do you think Drake London should have stepped out of bounds?
Well, yeah, I understand why he went for the touchdown, but I think in a situation like that, if you're risking I think in a situation like that, you dive. I think you got to dive for it because you got to dive for it because of exactly what ended up happening. I think he went to dive last minute, but his foot was already, his foot had already touched had already touched out of bounds. I think in that situation, if you're not gonna step out of bounds, you dive because if you dive, you're giving yourself at least a legit fair shot. To that way, if all you got to do is break that plane, even if you're out of bounds, you break the plane as a touchdown, but you're in the air. So, yeah.
Quick question. I got to ask you this, BRF. Is his ceiling Julio or Bad Moon Rising?
Ooh, I think his ceiling is in between. I think he's better than Andre in terms of just sheer being able to win his matchups, like his 50, especially his 50-50 balls. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he won't be just the sheer dominating force that Julio Jones was as his peak. Like Julio, and this is what I try to remind people as far as Julio Jones is concerned. When people want to put when people say, AB was better and all this other stuff, this is how I look at it. The entire decade of the 2010s, well, after 2012, when Julio became Julio, the best wide receiver in the league conversations was always Julio Jones, and whether it was Julio Jones and AJ Green, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham Jr., Julio Jones, Devontae Adams, Julio Jones, DeAndre Hopkins. Julio Jones was never not in the best wide receiver conversation because it was always him and somebody else.
Exactly.
That's why I don't think Drake has He may have like that outlier year where he has like a Julio style year as far as his yards is concerned. I don't think he has that type of consistent ceiling. I think he's somewhere in the middle. I think he has a ceiling higher than Andre Rison, but I don't think he's got a Julio ceiling. But at the same time, though, when you have a Bijan Robinson, you don't need a Julio Jones ceiling.
Okay. All right. All right. Who's the red flag of the week, people?
Oh gosh. I'm about to say one of y'all can go first. I got to think on this one.
I know he's not up to full speed right about now, but Micah Parsons didn't have a sack yesterday. I know he's not at full speed, but he didn't have a sack yesterday. He didn't have not one sack. And I know the argument will be they double teamed and everything like that, but the fact of the matter is you played the worst offensive line in the freaking league, and you don't have not one sack. You played the worst offensive line in the league. That you should have came out and just put belt to ass and made a statement. Just being real. But you played the weakest. And like I said,
fuck.
What happened?
I'm watching the Brewer game.
What happened?
Oh. Was bases loaded. Wait. Hold on. They score a run or not? So there was a deep ball. There was a hit out to center field. Frelick didn't catch it, but it bobbled right into his hands. And then he threw it in. And because the runner had to tag, they may have gotten the guy out at home. So they didn't.
Oh, damn. Hey, you got to keep us updated on that.
Shit. Yeah, I think he might have been out.
Yeah, because it's game one of the National League tonight, boy. Let me tell you something. The Seattle Mariners are doing some criminally mean things to the Toronto Blue Jays the first two games of that series. They've done some criminally bad things to Toronto. Jesus.
Well, yeah, I think it's Micah Parsons. When you face the worst offensive line in the league, you stat padding at a certain point.
I'm gonna continue that, and I'm gonna kind of be shitting on most of my home teams except for the Brewers this week. My one is the Packers in general. You put up 10 points on a shit defense, 3.5 quarters in. Like, I know they got out of there with a win, but like we were talking about this team after weeks 1 and he's out. After weeks 1 and 2, as the best team in the league, and they've been like a ranked fart since then. Like I know they're first in the North, but they tied the Cowboys, which they had no business doing. And then, they go and pull this shit with Cincinnati. They've just looked average. And Parsons, who was basically unblockable the first 2 weeks, has just been, like you said,
a popcorn fart in church.
Yeah, non-existent. So it's like, what, I've been saying for the last year that Jaden Reed is their best offensive weapon besides Jacobs. And he's what really makes that pass game go. And not having him in the pass game has been really hurtful. And that defensive backfield, they're going to run into problems in Green Bay is if they can't play from ahead and rush the passer and help out that defensive secondary, they're going to have problems all year. Because that secondary is butthole, like real bad butthole. And that's the problem. If they have to play close games, like if that's anybody but a shitty Joe Flacco and a Cincinnati Bengal team that has been reeling since Burrow got hurt, Green Bay loses that game. I'll just be blunt.
Yeah. And like I stated, when you facing a crappy defense like that, you stat padding at that point. It's like, bro, I'm trying to make my case for Defensive Player of the Year with this game. It's like I'm going to get as much as I can because when I start getting late in the season, guess what? I can point back to this game and say this is why I should win Defensive Player of the Year. That's just what I feel. BRF.
Red flag of the week. I will say this week there was much better football played this week compared to the week before. There was a lot better football, but man, red flag. I'm gonna just go out and oh boy, the Cleveland Browns and how the Cleveland Browns, man, like bro, like
He threw
I mean,
52 passes and none of them went over 10 yards.
I mean, look, you're down. I understand you want to throw the ball, but 52 times and you're 52 times and
None
you're
of them
not
went over
taking
10 yards.
you're not taking legit shots to at least attempt to stretch the Pittsburgh defense out a little bit. I mean, Kevin Stefanski, bro, what are you doing? Like what are you doing?
Just put Shador in. Why not? Maybe the kid can make a play. Like I mean,
We'll talk about the chocolate factory later, PSP.
Oh God.
The Jets. He said the PSP said the Jets. Shout out to PSP, man. Like I always say, just because he's not physically here on the show doesn't mean he's not part of the show. He's always our special guest star, I would say.
The Jets are right there. He's not wrong, most definitely.
Yeah, the special guest star always. So it's kind of like inviting Mike Tyson to the store, but not quite like Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You always have he always the special guest on the show. The special, like the invisible guest. It's like we see him, but they don't see him. You know what I mean? The Jets are look, man, they have way too many damn problems. We talk about firing anybody. You got offensive line problems. You got guys. I don't know how to fuck. I'm just gonna be real. I don't know how to fuck some of these guys. We talking about hey man, it's time for Breece Hall to get paid. He didn't get a damn thing.
No.
What are you talking about? Garrett Wilson, free Garrett Wilson. Fuck, motherfucker, for what? He did nothing. Free you so you can go somewhere else, and no, you haven't done anything. So yeah, look, this Jets franchise, look, I'ma just be real, man. This is why I always say, man, because Aaron Glenn is one hell of a coach. I believe that. Because you saw that, and look, if you don't believe he's a good coach, look what happened with Todd Bowles. Remember, he used to be the coach for the New York Jets. Look what Todd Bowles is doing. Look what he's doing.
Yeah, I know.
I keep telling people, man, look, coaches, I don't care who you are, because we're not going to make this about the R word. We're gonna just keep it all the way above. This is not about the R word. This is about coaches in general. Coaches, if you are a good defense or offensive coordinator, stop going to these shitty ass teams just because you have the desire to be a head coach. Yeah. I'm not going to the New York Jets.
I'm going to counter that a little bit just because I get what you're saying. It's like, but when you're Ben Johnson, you have the luxury to say no to a team. When you're Aaron Glenn, do you have that luxury?
Yes, you do. If you for that great of a defense that you did, yes. And the thing is, even with Ben Johnson, that team has building blocks. Chicago, and
I agree.
I'm about going to a shitty franchise.
I know.
Ain't gonna do nothing.
Because because what in the offseason when everybody was bitching that Dallas didn't go get Ben Johnson, I'm like, did you ever think that maybe Ben Johnson told Dallas no? Because I wouldn't have wanted to go in that situation.
And that's what I'm talking about.
I know.
But, I'm not going to go to there.
No, but my point is like, because that's always been kind of a debate. It's like, if you're a hot offensive coordinator, do you wait for a good maybe my argument isn't what it used to be. Now you can stay and be a good coordinator for a while and just go like that and you wait for the right opportunity, where it used to be like, if you turn down a head coaching job, like it was like, you just don't do that. Man. Yeah. It's like death to your resume. And so I think now maybe it might be easier. I also think it was a little hard for Aaron Glenn to go to the Jets in general because you're following Aaron Rodgers and that debacle. And, they didn't fix the offensive line. And I'm sorry, but Justin Fields was not the answer. I said it in the offseason leading it up. Justin Fields is what he is. Look, and I was high on him. I was higher on him than I was Trevor Lawrence coming out of college. Or that year of the draft. I loved his performance in the national title game. I was like, oh my God, I just think he's got it. And I was wrong. Now, maybe the Bears just ruined him. I don't know.
He's a Cordell Stewart.
He stinks. I don't even think he's as good as Cordell Stewart. He just stinks. He's just not good. He can't go through progressions. He can't stand in the pocket. He has poor mechanics. His footwork is terrible. He's a running quarterback that can make plays every once in a while.
Not every running quarterback is Lamar Jackson. I wish the NFL would learn that.
And that's my big point when it comes to you have to be able to learn to play from the pocket. You just do. You can be the running quarterback all day long. That's fine. But BRF, to one of your points, I want to point to one of your TikTok videos you made about responding to what was Michael Vick's peak. Was it Philly Michael Vick or Atlanta Michael Vick? And it was easy 2010 Michael Vick with the Philadelphia Eagles because that was his best year throwing from the pocket, period. End of discussion. So you have to be able to do that. And if you can't, then you're just not that good.
Look, I'm going to tell you something that my father always told me. That quarterback position will not be cheated. It will not be cheated. And that's why Lamar Jackson will go down in history. Him and Josh Allen will go down as the two best running quarterbacks to ever play. They learn how to play from that pocket. Yes, they can get you 1,000 yards every damn season, 800 yards, but they will sit back there in that pocket and put up video game numbers. The position of quarterback will not be cheated just because you have speed.
No,
it will not
never will. And that's why whenever I hear that the quarterback position is evolving, it's not. It is in a certain way of the aspect of, an added element is being, but it's not like we've never seen that before. We've had Fran Tarkenton, Randall Cunningham, Steve Young. This isn't new. Even you can go back to the 60s and guys were running around.
Otto Graham was running around.
Yeah, Otto Graham was running around. Let's not everybody was just this statuesque quarterback like Bart Starr that stood back there. Running quarterbacks have been a thing before. Len Dawson was a really athletic quarterback. Roger Staubach,
John Elway.
John Elway. I could go on and on and on. So this isn't new. The quarterback position isn't evolving. It's the same. There's nothing different. You still, like your dad said, at the end of the day, you have to learn to. You're a quarterback. You got to throw the ball, and you got to be able to do it well from the pocket. If you can't, you're going to end up being ass. It's just
You got to learn how to play that football from the pocket, man. Look what happened to Trey Lance. Hey, you can attest to this. You ever heard of Bobby Douglas?
Yeah.
Remember, Bobby Douglas ran for the most yards by a quarterback in league history. Nobody remembers him. Why? Because they say he could throw. Remember, he could. They said, I'll never forget. Coach George Hallis. He said he could throw a ball through a barn door. He said if he could find a barn door, because he couldn't hit the ground with a stick. So you got to be able to play that game through the pocket.
Yeah.
It's not. Look, the thing is, it's not evolving.
No,
it's more accepted for you to be a running quarterback.
Yes.
People don't understand this. Let me break some down to you because this is not an all-word issue. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? It's not an all-word issue. When Fran Tarkenton was doing it, it was frowned upon. Part of the reason why, and people don't, this is why people need to do their history when it comes to the NFL. Part of the reason why Tom Landry did not want to start Roger Staubach because he kept improvising the damn plays.
I could go to even just improvise. Go to Holmgren and Favre. Holmgren wanted to rip his eyeballs out because of all the information, the first couple of years.
Throw it away. Throw it away. Throw
Throw
it away.
Throw it away. Give me Christmas. Fuck yeah. Like,
no, remember? Oh, no, remember when he broke Antonio Freeman's arm?
yeah.
And when he threw the damn ball so hard, he said, "Okay, if Freeman's out, you broke his fucking arm." So, but yeah, man, look. The thing is this: the quarterback position is not evolving. The thing is, running outside of the pocket was always frowned upon back then. No matter who you were, no matter if you was Randall Cunningham, Roger Staubach, just to name a few, it was frowned upon. It was very much frowned upon. And like I said, that's why Tom Landry did not want to play Roger Staubach.
Not at first.
That's the thing. Yeah, people don't realize Roger Staubach wasn't always the starting quarterback for Dallas in the 70s. It was Craig Morton.
Yep.
Craig Morton was Tom Landry's quarterback. Roger Staubach was Dallas's quarterback. He was the people's quarterback.
Captain America.
Yes. But he preferred Craig Morton. And had Craig Morton not lost that Super Bowl against the Dolphins, I think it would have been Craig Morton. So, yeah, that's just the thing. Because remember, Craig Morton and Craig Morton won the bad quarterback. He took the Orange Crush to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so it's people need to start understanding this. When you say running quarterback, you are not talking about a black quarterback. You're talking about a fucking running quarterback. It's just at one point, Deacon Jones himself said this about Fran Tarkenton. He said Fran Tarkenton's, no, I swear, go back and look at it. And this is like the toughest dude ever to play in the NFL. He said every time that damn Fran Tarkenton did that, we tried desperately to end his damn career. We tried desperately to end his career.
Chase after the little shit.
He said because chasing around his ass in LA Coliseum all damn day long is not what you wanted to do.
No, same thing with Archie Manning.
Yeah,
Archie Manning was the same way. And again, this is why, like, when everybody and no, not the R word, but when Lamar Jackson came through, again, yes, like, were people being stupid about it? Yes, absolutely. But when people said, "Is he going to be able to throw from the pocket?" That's not racism. That's just you're
gonna ask that question.
Can you throw from the pocket? That's it.
You're gonna ask that question because guess what? Not a lot of run. The first ever running quarterback, he couldn't. Bobby Douglas, he was a running quarterback. He couldn't.
And to be fair, Lamar Jackson took a long time to start learning to throw outside the numbers. It took a while.
Yeah, Todd Monken.
Yeah, and it just takes a while. And now he can, and he's great. But
yeah, Todd Monken. Look, Todd Monken is solely. I believe Todd Monken is solely responsible for that.
Yeah,
and I hate that the Baltimore Ravens took him away from us. I hate the Baltimore Ravens. I will hate Baltimore forever because we could have three-peated. Yeah. We could have three-peated. That guy was our Buddy Ryan as far as offense, but he was on the offensive side of the ball. Because they couldn't stop. Nobody could stop that offense for those 2 years when we repeated. We was all over the damn place. Nobody could stop us. So when he took us away, that was just nasty. But yeah, man, people gotta stop taking the easy ways. I gotta do your research on the game, man. The game don't love nobody.
It's just,
and like I said, Bobby Douglas was Fran Tarkenton was the first scrambling quarterback. The first running quarterback was Bobby Douglas in the 70s.
Yeah.
And he was not very accurate.
No.
He was not very accurate. So that was the thing. People need to stop relating running quarterback to black quarterback because the first running quarterback was a white dude.
I swear this newer generation especially has such a short-term memory. It's like they're what's their face from Finding Nemo. Like everybody's Dory from Finding Nemo. When Patrick Mahomes was at his peak a couple of years ago and doing the no look shit and with that, and it's not just this new generation too. Like, you go on ESPN, we've never seen nothing like this before. And I'm just like, did you Did you forget about Aaron Rodgers, who was just 3 seconds ago? Like, did you forget the shit that dude was pulling off? Like, and the kind of throws that he was making come on. Like,
hell, Shawnee Jefferson was doing, when Patrick Mahomes was doing that behind the back. That was Shawnee Jefferson. He was doing that in the 70s.
Dude, the way Sammy Baugh, slinging Sammy Baugh, like, go back and watch Sammy Baugh highlights. Like, just please do your research. Like, I know that I am a 43-year-old single dad now, and I don't have a lot of time as much as I used to when I was a young kid and keep up with every little stupid thing when it comes. But I'm telling you, I will tell you right now, every time I hear some new kid open up their mouth about something about, oh, never seen this before, I'm just like, you have access to the internet. You have all the knowledge known to man. Use it, please.
Let me ask y'all this before we move forward. What's going on with the Brewers?
They turned a double play and got out of the inning. So
hell yes.
It's on the bottom of the fifth right now.
Quick question before we move on to the next story, because we're gonna go forward to PSP's question pretty soon, because it's part of the segment. Quick question. What do y'all think about, because I made a video about this, what do y'all think about Michael Irvin's rant? And, because people said that, they didn't think, because, there was a podcast, I can't remember the name right about now, and they went on a rant saying that they didn't think that Dion could check some of the guys today. And because, the guys back then were the quote-unquote fast guys. And look, that's not all, I have to say. Now, y'all remember Mark Schlereth, right?
Yeah.
He was part of the Hogs, and he was part of that John Elway team. He's going head up with the newer generation defending John Elway right about now. Look, I'm just going to be real. I got this. This is the most direct question I'm going to ask. Do we need to leave this generation versus generation shit in the NBA? That's my question.
We need to leave this generation versus generation stuff alone, period.
No.
We need to leave it alone, period.
Agree. But go ahead.
We need to leave it alone. We need to leave it alone, period, because people need to understand every sport has generational players that you can drop in any era and they're going to produce no matter the rules, no matter the offenses, the defenses, the schemes, it doesn't matter. There are players that are going to produce in any era. They just need to leave that stuff alone. It's annoying.
Nope.
It's really annoying.
Nope. Because you know what? Here's my rant of the week. Fuck them kids. Fuck these kids. I'm tired of it. I'm so tired of those guys plays against plumbers and electricians, and they just never seen any kind of athletic ability like we see today. No, stop. No, I loved Mark Schlereth going on that podcast and saying, and going up against them young kids and saying John Elway would smoke 90% of the quarterbacks in the league right now, and he's absolutely right. 100% right. 100%. I'm so tired of these arrogant little shits because they think that because they play fantasy football every week that they know football. I'm so tired of it. It's so aggravating. It's just I'm sorry. It just drives me nuts. No, like to sit here and say that like Josh Allen is better than John Elway. Like, look, I think Josh Allen is a fantastic quarterback, but John Elway is a top 10 and was arguably top 5 just a handful of years ago, like of all time. And it wasn't even an argument. And now he's just like, wow, he's just mincemeat now. But I'm so tired of it. Like, I'm just so over the new kids of these newer generations running their mouths when they have access to all the information known to man in their pocket and they just choose not to use it. Sorry, rant over and done with.
Yes, I think he is. Because the thing is, look, before Cam Newton, it was John Elway doing carry jobs. I'm just going to be real. Because on the offensive side of the ball, no.
He had a couple of Pro Bowlers.
Huh?
he had a couple of Pro Bowlers up until the two Super Bowls he won in the late 90s.
I think the only one was I think James Wilder. He had 1 year where he had like 1,200 yards back in the 80s. Other than that,
Bobby Humphrey went to a Pro Bowl. I know. As for wide receivers, I think Vance Johnson went to a Pro Bowl. Ricky Nattiel was okay for a little bit.
Yeah, the Three Amigos, but they wasn't like the posse was. You remember the posse, right?
Oh, yeah.
They wasn't like the posse. They wasn't them guys.
No.
But they was good, but it's just like they wasn't the posse.
No. And honestly, that team was carried by Elway and a really good defense.
Yeah, Atwater, Carl Mecklenburg, Rulon Jones, Tom Jackson. People don't remember Tom Jackson played with John Elway.
Yeah, Braxton, Dennis Smith. That defense was legit. So, like, if you go back, like one of my favorite Super Bowls of all time is Super Bowl 24. You go and look at that 49er defense or that 49er team versus that Denver Bronco team, dude. That Niner team is like littered with Hall of Famers, and it's like John Elway by himself and like Carl Mecklenburg, and that's it.
I'm not gonna lie.
But
I don't blame John Elway for losing those games. The thing is this: I can't play fucking offense and defense too.
No,
that's the thing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. He did shit himself in that game, but like still, like like you go and you just look at that '89 Niners team. I mean, Bill Romanowski was on special teams, for crying out loud. Like, that's how stacked that Niner team was.
Yeah.
But this goes to your point, though, Champ. Like, you've been talking about, like, the immediate disrespect of Joe Montana all of a sudden. It's like when Mahomes, like, became great, and everybody's like, well, he's number 2. And you're like, I remember you making a video like, did everybody forget about Joe Montana? Like,
again, everybody wants their generation to shine. And I understand why. But, because guess what? When I was younger, I wanted Randall Cunningham to be the greatest of all time when I was younger. And Dad would always tell me, keep your damn shirt on, young man. All that flashy shit, don't win Super Bowls. And he told me that in no uncertain terms. And he had Randall's jersey and everything. But he told me all that flashy shit don't win Super Bowls. You better look at Montana. So the thing is, people are going to say, well, he had Jerry Rice. First 2 Super Bowls, he didn't have Jerry Rice.
He didn't have him.
He didn't have him.
He had Roger Craig.
He didn't have Freddie. He had Freddie Solomon.
Yeah.
He had Freddie Solomon. And he had Wendell Tyler. So guess what? And the average fan could not tell me who that is. So, I mean, now granted, when he got into those later Super Bowls, Tom Rathman, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, those guys, Brent Jones.
Yeah.
So
Roger Craig.
Super Bowls, but he proved that he could win without those guys. Sort of like with Brady. Brady proved that he could win without Pro Bowlers. That's the thing. Well, he was just a game manager. He proved that he could win without Pro Bowlers on the offensive side of the ball.
Yep.
So
I understand. I do love what there's an interview that Michael Jordan does. It's for a cigar channel, I think. He did it years ago, and he talks about. He's asked if he thinks he's the greatest of all time, and he goes, I never got to play against Wilt or Jerry West. And he goes, you can't compare generations. So I get, but his overall point though, because he goes on to say like you don't disrespect the prior generations, and I'm fine with saying separate the generations, but I can't stand the disrespect of the prior generations. That's what dude, one of my top 5 favorite players, my first favorite NFL player, who I still think in my heart of hearts, in my little 8-year-old mind, in my little 7-year-old mind, is the greatest quarterback of all time, is Don Majkowski. He is still in my. I have an framed autographed jersey in my bar room right now. In my little 8-year-old heart, he is the greatest quarterback of all time because I saw that dude go into Candlestick Park in 1989 and take on the eventual Super Bowl champions and beat them straight up. And I thought that was the greatest thing I had ever seen. And I still think that, again, in my little child mind, he's the greatest quarterback of all time. But is he? No.
Yeah, it was crazy. But like I said, the disrespect for the newer generation is crazy. Yeah, I mean, we got to stop this whole generation versus generation type thing. It's like, look, we're done with the 90s. Keep that shit in basketball. I mean, keep it in basketball.
You're right. Like Elway, there's a lot of quarterbacks back then that are completely just disrespected and not even thought of. And part of that is something that I brought up a lot on the show is Brady and Mahomes have made it look too easy. And in the aspect of they've made it look so easy that now we hold this unattainable bar. And it's like we were in an argument in the fantasy football chat that I'm in with my league, and one of the guys was like complaining about Jordan Love, and he was comparing him to Favre and Rodgers, and I'm like, you're comparing him to 2 top 10 quarterbacks of all time. Like, just realize how hard this game is and how hard it is to win in the league. And then look at guys like Montana, Brady, and Mahomes and look at how special those guys are. It doesn't mean that guys like Dan Fouts or Jim Kelly or John Elway or whoever aren't as good or they're not as good, but like aren't good at all. Like they're Hall of Fame all-time greats. So that's just my last piece.
Anything you want to add, BRF?
You know what? I'll just listen to y'all cook for a minute there, and I am good. So we can definitely move on to the next topic.
I want to apologize a little bit. I went off on a little bit. That's a subject that just grinds my gears. So if I kind of step on your toes a little bit, BRF, my bad.
No, well, you make good points at the end of the day, because what a lot of this generation failed. Look, here's my thing. They like one thing that I don't like that they like to do is like, man, if I take such and such player from our generation and drop him here, or he'll do this, and this. And I just want to ask them something. What do they think guys like John Elway, guys like Dan Marino, what would they do in an era like this where the offense is so focused on nowadays? Like, the offense is so emphasized nowadays. What do they think quarterbacks like them who were ahead of their time would do in this generation?
Dude, can you imagine Elway, Marino, and Kelly in this generation?
Are you kidding? With automatic 5-yard illegal contact, with all the off coverage, not as much man, not as much press, not as much bump and run as you saw when they played. Oh my God!
You can't touch the quarterback at all. You can't hit him in the head. You can't hit him in the knees. You can't do
exactly. Like defensive players are literally having to think about how they're hitting quarterbacks nowadays. They'd have a field day.
Oh God! If you take that '90s Bills team, that early '90s back-to-back Super Bowl appearances, and throw them in this league now with these rules, dear Lord, with Andre Reed and Thurman Thomas, and dude, they would just be. They'd be wrecked. And then you throw in that defense with Bruce Smith and Cornelius Bennett. Oh my God, they'd be wrecking shop.
Jeez, bro, what? They be. That what folk can understand. There are generational players. There are generational teams that you can drop in any era. It's not just the players in this era that you could put in an older era. There are players and teams that you could put in any era, and they would win and they would do well just because of the players on their teams, their schemes, how the coaches ran things, just the overall chemistry. Like, that's why I say this generation versus generation stuff really needs to kind of die down, because we call them generational players for a reason, and there are generational / dynastic teams for a reason that could play in any era. So that generation versus generation stuff really kind of needs to kind of die down a little bit, to be honest.
I get what you're saying. I again, it's like the Jordan thing. I agree with to a certain extent. I agree with what Jordan said. Is you can't compare the generations because we never got to see them play against each other. But then the other part of it too is like we shouldn't be. It's just like a lot of, and I'm going to play a little devil's advocate of my own argument. It's just like the old heads that don't respect the newer generation players.
Exactly, facts.
It's like when you hear Barkley and all of them just like, well, these guys, blah, 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 blah. Like they couldn't play in the 80s or the 90s or whatever. And like, maybe there's some truth to a little bit of that, of the physicality, maybe. But at the same time, like you're going to sit here and say that Steph Curry, LeBron James couldn't play in the 80s or the 90s. Now, maybe they would have had to like adjust their game a little bit. Sure. But these are guys that have changed the game on some level, especially Curry. Like, You're telling me they wouldn't at least succeed in the 80s and the 90s? Like, come on.
Well, and another thing to that. The reason why the league back then was more physical was because there were athletes back then, but as a whole, the league was not as athletic as it was now. So you just have to be real. So you can take somebody to an extent.
Well, the other part of it is you went from like sports was big money to now it's big money. So if I'm an owner and I'm investing $25 million into somebody, well, I don't want that person to get hurt because then my investment sucks and I can't make money off of them. So
yeah,
we're going to protect the investment.
Yeah.
You know, and right or wrong, that's where we're at. But that's why the Pro Bowl sucks now, or the All-Star game.
Mm-hmm.
It's all it is protecting the investment. That's all it is.
The quarterback.
That's really what it is. There's nothing.
Well, it's protecting the athlete, period.
Yeah, whether it's them themselves or the team or the owner. Like that's what it is now.
Okay. Who is the biggest loser of the week? Well, yeah. I gotta say the Baltimore Ravens. I gotta say Baltimore because they don't have a chance anymore. It's like it's done. It's like 1-5. You're pretty much dead in the water. So,
yeah. I think I'm with you, champ. I'm with you. I do think it's Baltimore because it's like you're 1-5. Your defense, although they played better against the Rams, I just think 1-5. You're asking because they're saying Lamar's going to come back probably after, like I think after the bye or whatever. I think you're asking him a little too much at this point.
yeah, way too much. I really believe you asking for way too damn much, man. And we got a score right here. But yeah, I believe that's the Baltimore Ravens. What are your thoughts, Flash?
I mean, just to touch on the Ravens for a second. I mean, I predicted that Pittsburgh would win the division, or it would go between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, and so far I'm looking like I'm right now. But I didn't think it would be this far of a fall off. I didn't think the defense would be this bad. But red flag of the week. Yeah, I'm going to hop on that bandwagon and say Baltimore. Like that like to go 1-5. Like now you're not even going to make the playoffs probably. Like you could conceivably. Like I look at some teams right now, and like I look at Houston. I don't really trust Houston at 2-3. Look, I just want to say Drake May. Last couple of weeks. Whew,
I'm getting on this bandwagon more and more, Flash. I'm telling you.
He is becoming a quarterback. Dude, there were plays he made this past week on Sunday that I was like, ooh, is he a guy now? So, but I'm starting to come around on Jacksonville, but I'm not completely sold yet. So there are teams that, Cincinnati's 2-4. There are teams that can still fall off. And if Lamar comes back healthy, they can maybe claw their way back into a wild card spot. Maybe. But Yeah, that's a big maybe, and that defense stinks. Like it's so bad.
Yeah, I remember Sports PSP saying, man, they lost their soul, bro. Because when you think about them and the Chicago Bears, it's just like first thing you think about defense.
Yep.
So it's just like, damn, it's like, what the hell happened? It's in the great words of 50 Cent, what the hell happened? So a lot, and it's not like, and the thing is, look, you got to ask yourself, is it the personnel? Because you have the personnel, you just don't have, is it the coaching? I mean, as far as the defensive side of the ball, because you have the personnel, you just don't have, the scheme.
So
I think it's a combination. No, you go ahead, Flash.
So the reason why I predicted that Baltimore would kind of fall off this year is that like I kind of felt like last year was the year. Like I felt like if they didn't do it last year, then you have that team that just kind of hovers in contention, and they just don't finish the job for some reason. And I feel like it was a big punch, like when there's just a big gut punch to a franchise, and the next year they just don't come back with that same, they're just not. And I just felt last year that was a big gut punch, losing the playoffs again, and Lamar failing in the playoffs again. And I just felt like there needs to be a retooling there. I'm not saying fire Harbaugh or anything like that, but like something needs to change. They need a revival right now. And
oh, shit.
1-5 is not good.
We have a very special guest in the building by the name of Sports PSP at 150,000 followers on YouTube. Let's give him a round of applause.
What's that in the moment?
How y'all doing? I need to keep my mind off the Commanders game. I'm too busy watching the Commanders commit too many turnovers, and thank God we held Chicago to a 6-point lead. It really should.
And Buffalo just blocked the damn field goal.
What? No, are you serious?
Yep.
Yeah.
Serious as a heart attack.
And the Dodgers they're up 1-0 right now. Freddie Freeman hit a home run early in the inning, and there's 2 on and 2 out right now. Runners up for second.
Big champ, big homie. No one has been a bigger supporter of Baker Mayfield outside of me than you. Do you think he's the best narrative in football?
Yes, that was our next topic. Yeah, I believe he's the biggest story in football right about now. Not because of the heights that he's at, but from the depths in which he came.
Yes.
And he started off, this is not his first underdog story. Remember, he was freshman of the year at Texas Tech. Then he walked on
into OU.
First walk-on Heisman in the history of the league, as far as college is concerned. Had one of the greatest seasons ever. If it had not been for Georgia, he wins that national championship that year because that damn offense was unstoppable. Goes to the Cleveland Browns. They wanted adults in the room, and they got one. And he ends up, trickling around the league at this point. And then he lands at Tampa. Lands in Los Angeles, gets the coaching that he needs from Sean McVay. And then after that, it's pretty much on here because they went out there and he's the leading. And the thing is, people can talk about Josh Allen being the MVP, Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
No, they're not.
Mayfield.
It's Baker Mayfield because the thing is,
MVP candidate right now.
All 4 of his wide receivers are just finding a way to win.
Not to mention his star running back, Bucky Irving, who's also dealing with injuries.
Yes.
And he's still putting up numbers, by the way. I want to point that out. It's not like he's like scraping by.
No. And then, like I said, look, you know what I love about Baker Mayfield? Somebody come in and sneak a late hit on him. He don't whine to the ref. He don't bitch and moan to the ref. He gets right back up, gets in that dude's face, and just say, go ahead, keep on hitting me because we're going right downfield. Because remember, they hit him late yesterday.
Yes.
They hit him late yesterday, and he got right up, got in the dude's face. Yeah, go ahead. Keep on doing it.
And I want to point out, he's following
Tom Brady. That's a hard responsibility. That's a hard thing. And speaking to the numbers that Flash mentioned, Baker Mayfield this season is projected to throw for 4,361 yards with 34 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. Those are Aaron Rodgers-esque numbers that he's been putting up. And mind you, without Evans, Godwin, and now unfortunately he may lose Ibuka for a few games because of the hamstring injury. I just read the report from Ian Rappaport that it's not as serious as Mike Evans' injury, but he does expect Ibuka to miss a few games. But this is great for Baker because, again, we keep talking about the quarterback class. The 2018 QB class, I think it's one of the best QB class. Of course, you look at the 84 QB class of Elway, Marino, and Jim Kelly, but you got a two-time league MVP in Lamar Jackson, who you could make an argument should have won the MVP the third year, although I had no problem with Josh Allen winning it because look at what Josh Allen had to do to carry that team. You look at Josh Allen winning the league MVP. You look at Sam Darnold. We not just Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, the way that he's been playing outstanding so far. And the week before the Buccaneers Seahawks game, that's one of the best games I've seen so far this season outside of the Packers and Cowboys and Baltimore at Buffalo.
Yeah. I just want to say, like, the two turnaround quarterbacks in Baker and Sam Darnold. Bravo to both of them. Like, seriously, like everybody kind of expected Sam Darnold to fail in Seattle too. And he's been nothing but honestly great. You know, it's just to be able to do what the both. I mean, let's look at Sam Darnold's case a little bit. Like we are, you know, just a handful of years ago, he was the guy on the sidelines against the Patriots, you know, and we got the soundbite of he's seeing ghosts, you know, like he became a meme. And now look at him. So, I mean, bravo to him, man. Like, I love seeing stuff like that. It really is great.
Does that just goes to show us that we don't have a coaching problem in the league? Well, we don't have a quarterback problem in the league, that we have a coaching problem? Does that just go to show us that we have a coaching problem? Because thus far this year, the only thing that we have been seeing, here's the biggest story in the NFL, it's not just Baker Mayfield. We've been seeing so many reclamation projects in the league, it's ridiculous. Baker Mayfield is just the biggest story.
Yeah. Well, I think the Cleveland situation amplifies that. I think the two things that amplify Baker is the Cleveland situation, and then he's following Tom Brady. I think those two together amplify that, like, because again, and I'm going to toot this horn and pat myself on the back a lot for this, is I called it when they got rid of him. I'm like, what are you doing? Again, you could probably, I should put this on a t-shirt. I say this so much. You were one bad call away from beating the Chiefs and going to the AFC title game, like, or the Super Bowl or whatever. Like, and he had one bad year or one average year because of a shoulder injury, and you're just like, let's go get. Well, I'll just leave it alone.
Mr. Marcus.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know, I'll not say what I said. Like, BRS because it's like I can't handle Flash tonight. By the way, did you
sorry, fellas, had to grab me a good angry orchard.
I get it.
But Baker Mayfield, Flash, you'll love this comparison or analogy. He's the Shawn Michaels of the WWE. What I mean by that, he may not be he's certainly not as talented as Shawn, because in the ring, I don't think you can name a better performer than Shawn.
No.
But in terms of personality, fire, moxie, Baker has that.
Well, and then the two separate careers.
Yes. You look at Shawn, had a hell of a career in the 90s, and then after retirement, when he came back in 2002, even higher.
Yeah. But there's a question about, but it's going back to my people always say we have a quarterback problem in the NFL. No, we have a coaching problem in the NFL. Because the thing is, Baker is just the biggest example of a reclamation project. Daniel Jones is number 2.
Yeah, dude.
Sam Darnold.
That one. Yeah, no kidding.
And then Sam Darnold. And then the thing is, although he played a bad game yesterday, then up until yesterday, Mac Jones. You see what
I made an argument. I've made the argument had he was drafted in the 3rd overall pick rather than Trey Lance, Mac Jones would be just fine. I mean, come on. Sorry, Flash. I know New England, but Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as offensive coordinators.
Oh no, they ruined that kid. I fully the farther and farther we get away from Belichick Brady, the more and more people are starting to learn. As great as Belichick was, dude, without Brady, Belichick, that whole. I completely. I think Mac Jones got ruined by not only Belichick but Patricia, and I mean everybody knows about what a nightmare it is for Belichick right now in North Carolina. Like no offense taken, trust me.
Yeah,
The only good thing he got is that beautiful girlfriend. Other than that, I can't think of one thing else.
Nope.
And that's if she'll hang, and that's if she gonna hang around.
Hey man, in the great words of 6'2" from the Chronic album, they'll get around, but when them ends get low, just like Master P said, there they go. So hey, you gotta be hey, look, I ain't lying. But hey, look, just being real, you gotta be careful with that type of stuff, bro. Got to be more careful. So yeah, I mean, and not only that, Josh McDaniels, he's proven that, hey, I'm a great offensive coordinator. I'm not a head coach. And I think that he embraces this role now in developing that young quarterback at this point. So,
yeah, because I'm telling you, dude, some of the plays that Drake May has made the last couple of weeks, and I'm not talking about just like off the cuff plays, like watching him go through progressions and make solid throws, and it's just been beautiful to watch. Like I'm totally right there with BRF. I'm slowly getting on that bandwagon right now. I'm cautiously getting excited about New England football again.
Yes, I mean, it's good. It's getting great. BRF, biggest story in the league.
I mean, I think y'all kind of hit it on the head. I think right now you have to say you Baker Mayfield is leading the forefront, but I think you have to say the reclamation project. I mean, I don't think there's really a bigger story right now. He's leading the charge, and then and then Danny Dimes with the Colts, Darnold with the Seahawks. I think those are like as far as the reclamation projects in terms of like wire to wire so far and the way they played for their team so far. And I guess to a lesser extent, you could throw Mac Jones in there before yesterday, but I think when you're looking at wire to wire, I think it's clearly the reclamation projects of Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Daniel Jones as far as like the lows to the highs that they're feeling now, playing on good teams, playing good ball, and being part of the reason they're playing good ball and winning games. So there's really not much to add on for me for that. Yeah, it's the 3-headed reclamation project that's going on right now in the league with those 3 quarterbacks.
Yes, indeed, man. Got to give credit what credit is due. Hey, man, coaching matters in the league, and nobody proved that, like I said, more than Bill Walsh and Paul Brown. They prove what players can do when they have coaching, not just when you throw them out there with the coach. Because coaching is teaching and being patient. So, I mean, you just can't always blame it on the young quarterback. Just going to be real. With that being said, go ahead.
Did you take Mama Champ? Did you talk to Mama Champ after what happened yesterday?
Yeah, I did. But, she ain't sweating it. So, neither am I. So, let's go ahead and get to the meat and potatoes of the situation, man. Is the Chiefs more dangerous than ever? And is Patrick Mahomes back in the MVP convo? I say hell no. I just think he's the media darling, and he's the easy pick because when they start getting back on track. I think yesterday was a huge win, if you really want me to be honest, because they dominated the game. But I don't think that he's back in the MVP convo. I think the undisputed no pun intended. I think the undisputed MVP as of right now is Baker Mayfield.
I think he did. I think what Mahomes showed is that he's still capable of handling regardless of the circumstances. Like I said, Champ, you gave a lot of credit to Jacksonville in that game last week. I just thought it was more bad Kansas City because of the special teams. So far, I don't know what's going on with Harrison Butker, but he's been kind of regressing just a little bit. But Kansas City, they played much better defensively. Steve Spagnuolo, but also too for MVP conversation, I would probably say Dak Prescott. Despite their record, you can't. I mean, Dak Prescott so far this season, you can't look at the Dallas Cowboys and say, "Well, Dak's the reason." I mean, he's been playing to his part. George Pickens, who previously I called him George Chitlins, I can't call him that anymore because again, he's been playing well lately, especially since CD Lamb has been down. But they need to fire Matt Eberflus. I know I'm digressing, but they got to find a way to fire Matt Eberflus because if you continuously have him as the defensive coordinator, I don't know what Jerry is thinking at this point, but hey.
I mean, but are they going to do much better than Eberflus one? And do they really have the talent to really do? And to be fair, their dad
after the season, no. I'm not firing him now, but after this season, I got to find somebody else because if I continuously keep him, I mean, what am I going to do? I mean, Dallas at this point, they should. If you look at the game against Philadelphia, they should have won Philadelphia. I mean, CD had some drop passes. Dak actually, to his credit, he played well.
They should beat Green Bay too.
Yes. Oh, by the way, Flash, I never asked you this question. Can you please explain to me what Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love was thinking on that last possession in overtime? They're lucky that there was only like 1 second left in overtime to kick the game-tying field goal to end the game in the tie.
I don't know. I was at the gym yesterday, so I didn't end up going to the game yesterday. I wanted to, but I was at the gym yesterday, and between sets I go and watch the game a little bit on TV, and they've been my red flag ever since week 3, essentially, because I don't and yesterday's game, even though they won, like there is no reason that should have been. If you are supposedly a Super Bowl contender, you should have dog walked that Bengals team. And they struggled for 3.5 quarters. And I just don't know. I don't know. I was talking about some friends too. And is it LaFleur's play calling? Is it the communication between Love and LaFleur? Is it the banged up offensive line? And you throw in there the injury to Jaden Reed, like, because the running game's inconsistent. Like one drive, it looks fantastic. And the next drive, it just, and then for 3 drives, it looks terrible. Micah Parsons is all of a sudden non-existent all of a sudden after 2 weeks of being literally unblockable like Reggie White 2.0. I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Packers right now. I don't know. I wish I could give you a solid answer. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I think Jaden Reed matters so much to that offense. I've been saying that for a long time. I also think that the offensive line is having its issues. I think the injuries are a thing, but I also think that one of my friends brought up that he thinks Love has a little bit of tunnel vision right now. Like he's not looking other receivers' way. And I think that's a little bit true. Like he's looking at Dobbs and he started to look at Golden a little bit more yesterday. And so
there were times he was a little erratic though.
Which seems to come to with the territory with him for some reason. Like he can't seem to, hold that in.
Yeah, Joe.
And I don't know what it is. Something's off, and I'm not sure what. We talked about the lack of coaching. When the league was talking about, and they have like knocking down preseason games and making, and practicing less and having less padded practices. Well, is this the result? As an old football coach, I always said, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy, but I said, you're taking away practice time. That's always bad. And it's going to result in bad football and bad coaching and bad playing.
But to your question, Champ, is Mahomes an MVP conversation? I think if the Chiefs were above average, yes, because given the circumstances, but at the same time, no, I would put Baker. I would put Josh Allen. I would throw Dak into that conversation. I would throw Daniel Jones into that conversation just based on how we've seen them so far in just 6 games. But no matter what, they're going to put Mahomes in that conversation because obviously he is the face of the NFL. But to his credit, he has played good enough football this season. But we got to give credit on that, though. And the beauty of it for Kansas City, after coming off the huge win, Rashee Rice is going to come back after the 6-game suspension. So now you got Worthy, you got Rashee Rice, and you got Kelsey, who I believe that Kansas City needs to move on. They got to get themselves a tight end in next year's draft. So, go ahead, Flash.
I got a question for you. Do you think with Rashee Rice coming back and then you throw in Worthy and Hollywood Brown that will take enough pressure off Kelsey where he's not going to be Kelsey of old, but he's going to be old Gronk where it's 3rd and 10 and he can get open?
Yes. He's going to have to play more like Jason Witten. You know how Jason Witten was later in his career in Dallas?
Same thing with Gronk the last couple of years in New England, like especially the last year.
Right.
He was really banged up. Like, it's like you're going to be a blocker. You're going to be a decoy. But if it's like 3rd and 10, 4th quarter, and we need a catch, I know I can get one out of you type thing.
Exactly. That's how I think with Kelsey at this point. Kelsey can still move well a little bit, not like before. That's how I would utilize Travis Kelsey at this particular point. Pacheco, I don't know what's going on, and I love Pacheco, but I don't know what's been going on. But no, champ, I don't think Mahomes is in that MVP conversation because there are a lot more other players that are playing better than him at this point. But you can't really look at him and say, well, he's the reason why Kansas City has fallen apart. There's other reasons as well, too. Plus, you can make the argument for Justin Herbert for the MVP over Patrick Mahomes because Los Angeles, they're 4-2. They barely beat Miami. And plus, he's had to do it without his 2 best offensive linemen, Joe Alt and Slater. And Quentin Johnson, if you want to make comeback player of the year award, to me, it should be him or most improved player of the year award because the knock on him was his drops. Now he's been playing more than well.
I can get with Quentin Johnson being most improved player this year. I can absolutely get with that.
Yes, indeed.
Same.
What about you, VRF? Got anything to add on this?
Patrick Mahomes in the MVP conversation? No, definitely. I feel like definitely not after this moment. As far as the Chiefs being dangerous, look, they're the Kansas City Chiefs. I feel like it's that old. I mean, I'm gonna stick by it. As long as they have Mahomes, as long as they have Reed, I feel like they have a chance because they have that battery there. I want to see more. I want to see more out of the defense, like what we saw against Detroit, because I feel like that defense against Detroit really kind of dictated the tempo as far as like Detroit couldn't necessarily do what they really wanted to do against Kansas City, and that was a lot in terms of like Kansas City, their ability to rush Jared Goff, getting him off his spot, putting pressure on him. Kansas City did a really good job against Detroit, and that's something. It's like I want to see that more from Kansas City. You know, I don't want to see one game they showed up against Detroit, who've been destroying people the last 2-3 games. Now all of a sudden, oh, Kansas City's back. No, we still need to see it more before we can legitimately say, oh, Kansas City might be getting ready to make a run. Now, we need to see that a little more because there hasn't been enough consistency to be like, you know, they just want to throw them back into conversations for teams that can get, you know, that can get to the Super Bowl at the AFC. They're a long way to go from that. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes being in the MVP conversation. I don't think he's in the MVP conversation yet. I mean, he's still Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day, but like I said, I need to see more consistent play from the Kansas City Chiefs before we start talking about them being back in that upper echelon as far as like contending for the AFC Championship, getting to the Super Bowl.
I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate a little bit. I'm going to say I think he's in the conversation by default because of who he is. He always will be. It's like year after year. Is Manning or Brady in the MVP conversation? Yes, they're always in the MVP conversation because of who they are.
Good point.
So is he in the? He's kind of like in the back, kind of like creeping, like Baker Mayfield out in front and a couple other guys, but he's just kind of like he's like Mr. Wilson from Home Improvement, kind of sneaking over the fence, like just kind of looking, just kind of waiting, he's just sitting there, and so and to your point, he's right. Like the Chiefs, as long as they got Mahomes and Reed and a decent defense, they got a shot. And so, do I think he's the front runner? No, I think that's clearly Baker Mayfield right now.
I don't think it's in top 5 conversations right now. To be honest with you,
well, you got Baker, Josh Allen, you got Daniel Jones. I think Dak is playing at an MVP.
Dak's in the conversation. I think you have to put I think you have to put Sam Darnold in the conversation a little bit. What he's doing in Seattle.
Yes,
and I think we might finally get our first running back in the conversation if Atlanta holds on to win this game, because Bijan's been wow.
Who told y'all that at the beginning of the season? Bijan, you might go for 1,000 this year. So
yeah, I think we'll finally get a running back in the discussion if Atlanta holds on to win this game.
But will a running back ever win it though? He'll be in the conversation.
A running back will have to do what Champ was predicting Bijan to do to like win the MVP award, is what I feel at this point, or like break Eric Dickerson's record. Like, I mean, they would have to have an ungodly year to win the MVP award.
I think you'd have to have a Marshall Faulk type year, which Bijan is capable of.
Jesus.
Damn it.
Oh, man.
What happened?
What's going on with the Brewers, Flash?
It's 1-0 heading into the top of the 8th. The Brewers they've been one-hitted so far.
Hold on, we already out almost at the 2-minute warning.
Yep. They've been running that damn ball like it ain't nothing. Tyler Algier
Didn't I tell you that's what they needed to do to win this game? Tyler Algier and Bijan will both have to have the rock a lot tonight.
Yeah,
I'm glad. Them coaches must watch the show because they listened to me on Friday. They listened to me the other night. They listened to me.
Hey, PSP, I got a random question for you.
Go ahead.
I know Champ asked my opinion on this a while ago on the show when it came. I think it was earlier this year, actually. As being a Commanders fan, are you in favor of bringing back the logo and or the Redskins name? One or both?
Maybe the logo, but definitely not the name. Okay. As I've moved on. I feel like if it offends some or a few people, I'm good enough with it. Plus, if you go to a Native American reservation and if you use that term, Champ would tell you himself, it's going to get you into a world of trouble. My thing is, I've moved on from the name. I've moved on from Daniel Snyder. Don't remind me because of all the horrendous things that transpired under his stewardship, the sexual misconduct stuff. Albert Hainsworth, we paid him a shit ton of money, and look at what he gave us as far as on the field. So for me, I've moved on, and which is why I'm happy as a Commanders fan. Despite the score right now, I'm happy that the Commanders have moved on because we're moving on to better things. We're moving on to a future. I just don't want to bring back the old name. I've moved on from that for so long. So if somebody knows, that's how I feel.
I just was curious. I know you are a Commanders fan or a Washington fan, so I just wanted your take.
No, that's fine.
Man,
I mean,
I gotta say this real quick. It's a shame that the Lord. Here I am about to make a joke. Bless my heart. Okay, prepare. But anyway, it's a shame that man was in Tennessee, was the unquestioned, undisputed best D tackle in the league in Tennessee. he goes into Washington. He went into Washington as Albert Hainsworth, but he left Albert Buttersworth.
You could just say Fat Albert.
Yeah.
Either way, like it's a shame. And it's not like that dude didn't have talent. The dude could do everything you ask of a defensive tackle to do. He could rush the passer. He could stop the run. Just there was nothing he couldn't do, but his damn head wasn't in it, and they got them to jump.
Remember the Monday Night Football game in which Michael Vick torched Washington on that game? There was even one play in which Vick scored a touchdown. I think it was to Jason Devon, and John Gruden called him out on it because he was on the field, laying on
and
the
he didn't
field.
get back up. He fell down on the ground and he didn't move. He stayed there.
Yeah. Stayed there like a beached whale. So
like a dead fish.
So stayed there like a beached whale. So hey man, look, I don't feel sorry for Albert Haynesworth. I better not ever hear about him going broke. So I really don't.
I do not. I don't feel sorry about him one iota. I don't feel sorry about him. I don't feel sorry for him at all.
I mean, they spent a shit ton of money in free agency.
It's sad too, because if you look at what he was in Tennessee, he was Aaron Donald before Aaron Donald.
Facts. He was the unquestioned best defensive tackle in football. Unquestioned.
Back-to-back first team All Pros.
Yeah.
Without question, Washington signing him in free agency, without question, the worst free agent move.
It's up there. It's one of the worst ever. It's up there.
Yeah, it's up there.
Well, Washington is known for bad moves. Plus, Champ will bring it to me all the time. It still stings me. They brought in Adam Archuleta, even though they had Ryan Clark at the time.
Yeah.
That still baffles me to this day because Ryan Clark. Talk about that man in media all you want to. And Ryan Clark is one of the most underrated safeties of the past decade and a half. Not even lying.
He is one of the biggest cornerstones of, in my opinion, the greatest rivalry in the 2000s.
Yeah, the Baltimore and the Steelers.
The
Baltimore-Pittsburgh rivalry, yes.
He is one of the cornerstones of that rivalry. And look, and again, you're right, Bear. Think of whatever it is you want him on his commentary on ESPN. But that dude would knock a mother out.
He said it. No, you go ahead.
Old dude, love and appreciate that.
And he said it himself on the pivot. And I ain't gonna lie, I enjoy watching the pivot. Shout out to Ryan and Channing Crowder and Fred Taylor. They changed a lot of the rules. He was one of the main reasons they changed a lot of the rules as far as just safeties just hitting people because he put people to sleep.
Yeah. Oh, fucking A. Freddie Freeman's going to win this fucking game on his
Remember
own.
the rivalries between him and the Ravens in playoff time?
What I keep saying, oh, my bad.
When he laid out Wes Welker on that one crossing route, boy, man. Woo.
Hey, what I tell you about Freddie Freeman, he's the new Mr. October. He's the new Reggie Jackson. He's the new Reggie Jackson.
What, can he not do it right now? Please.
Oh,
y'all are playing. Oh, shit. My bad. So,
by the way, Champ, the great D says hello, as always.
Hey, tell D, that beautiful lady I said, what's up?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, it is crazy. Hey, look, pipe bomb time, bro. Shout out to my main man, DC. Your thoughts on Myles Garrett saying he's tired of losing, but he signed up for it? I agree. Look,
I don't feel sorry for him. He's another one I don't feel sorry for.
Let's just be honest with you. Let's just keep it all the way a buck, bro. As I unwrap this crustable right about now. But unwrap this crustable right about now. Look, man, him complaining about losing right about now. It's kind of like me dating Brittany Renner and getting mad about getting my money taken, bro. That's just what that's like right now. That's just like me dating Brittany Renner and getting mad that she got pregnant almost immediately and took all my money. You knew what you
there we go. That might be ball game, folks.
Oh, hell no. That game ain't over till this damn clock strike zero with Josh Allen out there.
I know. I'm excited. They played a really good game tonight. They just need to hold them.
Yeah, they got to hold them. But got to stop Jake. But yeah. Look, guys, kind of like what I said earlier about these coaches. Stop signing these big-ass contracts if you're going to lose. Because the thing is, can you imagine? Look, I love Micah Parsons. I like him. Like I said, he's the next Derek Thomas. He is a Derek Thomas of this generation. But can you imagine? Can you imagine if Myles Garrett would have went over there?
Mm-hmm. That was the talk.
Yeah.
This is what I'll say. This is what I'll say. And I might sound a homer for saying this, but you know what? I think there's validity to it. If Myles Garrett goes to Green Bay, I think Micah Parsons goes with Atlanta. I'm not joking. I am not joking. Because it's like me and Flash had the discussion. I think Green Bay and I think Atlanta were the only real players that had they had the means to acquire him in a trade. I legit think if Myles Garrett signs with Green Bay, Atlanta would have been like, you know what we got? Let's just fork it up. Let's just go and get him and bring him downhill. That's what I honestly feel like would have happened.
Yeah, and honestly, if I look at it as a Green Bay fan, as much as I love the Parsons trade, Myles Garrett just would have been a free agent signing, to my understanding.
It would have been a free agent signing.
So we would have had our
next year.
Yeah, we would have had our two first round draft picks on top of it still. So,
but what's confusing with Myles Garrett? At one point, he asked Cleveland. He requested to be traded.
Yeah,
he decided to stay for the money, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah, we had the conversation about it. You felt like, hey, if someone offers me a ton of money, hey, I would not. It would be hard for me to turn that down. And plus, Cleveland, we don't know before the draft. Who knows? Could they pair him up with Abdul Carter? Now, unfortunately for Cleveland, they traded up. Jacksonville ended up having the number 2 overall pick and drafted Travis Hunter. Meanwhile, the Giants had the 3rd overall pick, I believe, and took Abdul Carter.
Yes,
so my thing with Cleveland and with Myles Garrett, you've been around Cleveland. This is now your 9th year with this organization. If you felt like you wanted to move on, you should have moved on at that time.
Yeah, you should have.
But you stayed because of the money, obviously. It's hard to turn down that type of money. Yeah, but at the same time, if you truly want to win, you could have gone elsewhere.
But the thing is,
Cleveland would have gotten a ton of draft compensation from you.
I don't understand the whole he stayed for the money thing. And you're right, he did stay for the money, but what he would have got, however much his contract was, he would have gotten $10 million less going somewhere else. Boo hoo. It's kind of like the Parsons thing. Parsons essentially just wanted out of Dallas. He was
because how the way Jerry treated him.
Yeah, he was going to get paid no matter what, and Myles Garrett was going to get paid no matter where he went. Yeah. So it's just kind of a stupid choice. It's like staying with the girlfriend that you should leave. You're like, man, I should really leave. This relationship sucks. This is a one-sided thing. She just sits on the couch and eats bonbons or is in massage parlors with girls, and it's just not good. This isn't going right. And I'd like to, I want to be in a successful mutual relationship. And then all of a sudden you got a door. There's a nice, shiny, there's a girl that, that treats you right and respects you and stuff like that. And she's cute and she's everything you could dream of. And you just go, nah, I'm good. And stay. And then 3 weeks later, a couple months later, you're bitching about it. And it's just
sorry, guys, I got emotional. Commanders just scored. They tied it 16-16.
Oh. Calm down there, PSP. You're way too excited right now. I can't take all this excitement.
Look, do you know how much shit and torment Daniel Snyder has put me through as a lifelong Washington Commanders fan for far too long? I've had to spend so much time in the bathroom puking.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 32 years old. I just turned 32 yesterday.
See, when you were talking about the old Redskins name and the logo, and you associate it with Snyder, I don't associate it with Snyder. I associate it with
Jack Can Cook,
yes,
Joe Gibbs.
And Snyder for so long he wanted to keep the name and
yes! Oh shit, my bad.
You okay?
My bad. Interception. We won the game.
Oh, it sounded like you were trying to hit with Nikita.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
But anyway, look, he wanted to keep the name for so long. He looked at it as a symbol of honor and tradition. But at the same time, if you're Daniel Snyder, it's only the community who finds and determines what's offensive and offensive. If one person says it's offensive, and if they're in that particular group, then to me, fine. I will take them at their word and go on from it. Like I said, Flash, I've moved on. I have no problem. Go ahead.
And I get that. No, I don't, and that's fine. I was more saying like how I just associate that. Like when I look at that logo, I think of like my childhood, which was the 80s and Joe Gibbs and the Posse, and Doug Williams. Yeah, and with Ricky Sanders and Art Monk and Gary Clark and the Hogs. Like that's what I think of. So I it's amazing how a terrible owner can ruin something so much. Like as a primary Wisconsin person, so far I haven't had to really like. Bud Staley wasn't a terrible owner, and neither was Herb Cole for the Bucks. Like he wasn't terrible. Like I've never had to experience a really bad owner like someone like Schneider. So I don't know what that's like.
He was horrendous.
I know. I yeah.
He, other than James Dolan at that time, Dan Snyder was the worst owner. Him and Dolan, they were close as far as owners, as far as their incompetencies and off the court. We talk about Dan Snyder with his sexual assault or sexual misconduct accusations. Let's not forget, Champ, and you know this very well, the Nuka Brown Sanders situation back at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
See, I remember that. I felt like James Dolan was the undisputed worst owner. See, this is where I'll give Dan Snyder a little bit of credit.
He spent money.
He didn't strike out on all. Well, not necessarily that. He didn't strike out on all of the guys he got. Because I'll give him, for every Albert Hainsworth,
you had a London Fletcher.
Exactly.
You had
for every Josh Norman, you had a Pierre Garçon. So it's not like So it's not like he didn't miss out on all the talent. He missed out on the big names, but he made up for it for getting some guys that were like kind of like the unsung hero guys that came in there and produced for Washington. James Dolan just had no luck at all. At least Daniel Snyder did get some good players in there when he needed to go get them. James Dolan just had crap luck.
And at the end of the day, I do think that Dan Snyder wanted to win.
I do too.
He wanted to win, but the way he executed it, though, that was the problem. And with Dolan, he didn't care whether the team won or lost because he knew at the end of the day, suckers would go to Madison Square Garden, whether diehard basketball fans or casuals, they would spend their hard-earned money because, after all, it's at Madison Square Garden, New York City, the Mecca. And with Dolan, he made a lot of horrendous moves. Remember the Allen Houston giving him $100 million?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bad contract. And then unfortunately he got hurt damn near immediately. So I mean, yeah.
And plus he's not a fans owner as well, too, because they still look at other incidents with Dolan. Obviously, the whole Charles Oakley incident when Madison Square Garden had to physically escort him out of the garden, or when he responded to the lifelong Knicks fan telling him, "You are a sad person." Why would anybody write such a hateful letter? And Dolan even insinuated that the fan was an alcoholic. And the only reason why Dolan brought that up, because Dolan, in fairness to him, he's been in rehab. This is not his 32nd year of sobriety. God bless him. But for Dolan to insinuate that someone is an alcoholic, when he brought up factual evidence, if you take the time to read the letter, Champ, it's crazy.
Yep. And the player of the game has to be Bijan Robinson. Does anybody have any?
I think we finally have a running back inserted into the MVP conversation with what he did tonight.
I was going to also say the defense too, Champ.
Oh, Now this was a defense run game. This was a special right here because they made Josh Allen look bad tonight. He made some plays, but he did not look good tonight.
Yeah.
All right.
What's the number one defense in the NFL?
Try to take your homerism out of it. I want an honest opinion. Is Atlanta a Super Bowl contender?
Fuck no.
All right. Is that your pessimism as a Falcons fan?
Fuck no. I'm gonna just be real. 1 week, because look, here's what I don't like. It's kind of like dealing with a bad girlfriend. 1 week she gonna do good, and then the next fucking week she gonna act crazy. So it's just like I don't really like that shit. Because the thing is, remember, look, no, I'm serious.
No, I just love it. You start this podcast goes the same every week.
I go from Halle Berry to Jada Pinkett.
You
you go from Halle Berry to Jada Pinkett every week, bro. I don't need that shit. Like, bro, 1 week I'm on my feet, yeah, and then the very next week I'm about to have a heart attack sitting over there. Like, I ain't got time. Look, no, until we get until a point where you're just flat out dominating games, and you're doing it consistently, then no. Now, like I said, the thing is, the key is not to be great. The key is to be great consistently. And do I like what I'm seeing? Yes. But it's kind of like I said, I'll say this. It's kind of like being a teacher and having a good student. You know this guy's a good student or this young lady's a good student, but every other damn day they have a damn problem. It's like, damn, you're a good student, but I don't know if I want to keep you in this damn class the way you be acting.
Is Blake Snell a good pitcher?
Yes.
Yes.
Like how good?
Real good.
Like has carried multiple teams to World Series appearances. Good.
Why am I like not? I don't know.
Like has won a Cy Young award. Has carried multiple teams to World Series appearances. He's good. He's legit.
I know. I know.
But yeah, I gotta be.
He just has his highest, like he just set a own personal record for strikeouts in a postseason game. So I'm just kind of.
Bro, I'm telling you right now.
I know he's good. I know.
Yeah,
it was more rhetorical. It was.
I know, but I pray for you if you have to see him again in this series, and you're probably gonna have to. Because he is a postseason. He's a monster in the postseason. He is a monster.
He has been like I've watched this game from the beginning, and he has been lights out. Like the Brewers have barely gotten a solid hit on him. Like fuck, man. Oh, I just want to finish.
Yeah,
this podcast starts out almost the same every week. Like, so Champ starts out very PC and doesn't want to say anything offensive, and then I go on a 4-letter word rant, and then Champ slowly goes into where he starts
he slowly falls into the rabbit hole.
Yes. So
he slowly falls into the rabbit hole.
All of a sudden, the F-bomb started coming out, and then
okay. See, I'm gonna answer that question too, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The way the NFC is looking right now, you can't tell me they're not a dark horse. The way the NFC is looking right now,
I think they are.
Because they are a legit dark horse. They are a legit dark horse. The reason why I say that is because, like the NFC, and even with Tampa Bay, like nobody's really like, okay, we got it now. We finna run with it. Nobody's like grabbing the NFC and like just taking it with them. So I think right now I think as wide open as the NFC is, all it takes for one team to get hot come December. And we could very well be that team because we obviously play the defense. Look what we just did to Josh Allen tonight. We obviously can play the defense. Granted, the offense could have put up some more points, but I love what I saw from Bijan. I was on that podcast. I was on the Throwdown the other day, and shout out to Raider Report, shout out to Insider. But me and him kind of got into a little debate because they were talking about Penix, and he flat out said he was trash, and I'm like, no, y'all got to quit. Y'all are hung up on that Carolina game. I think there's room for improvement, but he's not trash. He's not trash at all. And I really honestly God think they're like that dark horse team for me in the NFC. Like if they get hot, because I mean they have a running game, they have a defense, so you already have what you need to where if you're in the playoffs and you need to travel and you need to go on the road to win a game, they can do that because they can run the ball and they can play defense, so they can travel. So so my main thing, if the offense is getting to where they're putting up between 28, 31 like points a game, if they kind of get a little more consistent with that, like finishing off more drives, I think they're like an X factor team in the NFC. I think they're a dark horse.
Quick question: do you think, before we move on to the next subject, do you think that we should run more Bijan late in the game and kind of just keep feeding him, or just keep feeding Tyler Algier late in the game?
I think with a duo like that, you can mix it up more. You can mix it up more in the fourth quarter and not necessarily depend on one or the other. I would never, even when it's the fourth quarter, I would never let the creativity on offense die. If anything, I would call more instances where they're both on the field at the same time, and you have to make the defense choose which way you want to go. That's what I would do.
Yes.
Because
Deron Payne blocked the field goal.
Oh, nice, very nice. I need to go to that game right now. Now that we're thinking about it, I've seen what I want to see tonight. I'm good. Now it's time to watch the other game.
And on that note, I will say one thing and one thing only: if ILA forever, I love Atlanta.
You just saying that because you don't want to take that double shot.
Hey, and then I can start my sobriety journey. So
hey, all I'm gonna say is our offensive coaches listen to what I said on your show, and they did exactly what I needed them to do tonight. Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson ran them boys out of Mercedes-Benz. They did exactly what they needed to do to win that game.
You know what you call that, don't you? Marty Ball. God rest his soul.
That's exactly what that was. That was 2004 Jim Moore Jr., Ward Dunn, TJ Duckett. That's what tonight was.
Hey Flash, I gotta ask you this question, if I can, champ.
Go ahead.
What are your thoughts about LeBron with the Hennessy ad?
Oh shit.
The I got a major announcement decision 2.0 thing.
Yes.
Just remember, you asked him this question now.
I asked him. I'm always intrigued to what Flash has to say. Whether I agree or disagree, I'm just intrigued.
I'm half and half on it. There's a part of me that wants to go, that arrogant piece of shit, blah, 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 and just dress up and down. But then the other part of me goes, dude, I appreciate the troll. Because that's a hardcore troll. In fact,
that's all it was. And he was trolling. So he was trolling himself. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, and he's making fun of himself. So honestly, bravo. Bravo. You not only got the internet up in a tizzy, then you rage bait them. And in the process of rage baiting the whole internet, you made fun of yourself in the process. So I got kudos to LeBron. Kudos. It played into everybody's emotion. So, which is why I had to take a pause when I first saw it. And I went, wait a minute. He wants me to get angry. I'm not going to give him the satisfaction. I am going to give him the credit for doing. That was bravo to him. It's probably one of the most authentic things he's ever done in his career. No joke.
And he's even come out and said it himself. If he could do it all over again, he wouldn't have done it. No. So there is a level of accountability there with him, because he said if he could go back and do it over again, he wouldn't have done it. So there's a level of accountability there, which I think kind of falls into this. Like he completely trolled himself, and I think it was cool. He completely trolled himself. I had no problem with it either.
I think it shows a little bit of growth in him as a person, that he's not taking himself as seriously. That's always been his problem. It's like he He reminded me of Alex Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez was always compared to Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter was just Derek Jeter. And A-Rod, he was always the oddball, weird guy. You know, it's like when LeBron James is like carrying around the book and like, whoa, where are you at in the book? Well, I don't know. Like, he's not really reading the book. He's just doing it for appearances. Like, he's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always just been like this kind of fakeness about him. And if you can be self-deprecating, that means you're not taking yourself too seriously. That means you've kind of grown up a little bit. And I appreciate the troll of not only trolling the internet, but also being able to make fun of himself. Like, that's huge. I love that. I can always appreciate that in a human being in general, not just LeBron James.
Good God, PSP, did you just see that route he ran?
Yes, I did. And
Yeah,
Lord, that was beautiful.
mind you, Washington is doing this without their number one in Terry McLaurin. So it just tells you, and like I said, again, a team in that division, the Eagles. Some people had the Eagles win the division again. When is it that a team in that division has won it back-to-back seasons? So it's going to be tough for the Eagles. But speaking of the Eagles, I think Jalen Hurts has gotten too much criticism. I think it's unfair because, again, he's trying to do more to appease A.J. Brown because, of course, Champ, you saw the cryptic tweets from A.J. Brown.
Yes.
Saquon is not having the type of season that we had. I mean, but after all, he did have a 2,000-yard historic season.
Was that Hurts?
Yeah, that's Zach Ertz.
Oh boy, I ain't gonna lie, I got a 6-leg parlay going. I need to look on that because he was one of my touchdowns. So I'll take it. I need to check that.
But I think the Eagles, they're gonna have some struggles. It was really disappointing for them to lose that game to the New York Giants. You had a 4-point lead, and then the Giants somehow scored 20 unanswered points. Shout out to the big fella. He said before, Cam Scatterboo is the combination of Mike Alstott and Christian McCaffrey. If they made a baby, Cam Scatterboo would be the love child. Jackson Dart has looked really sharp, really impressive. Some of his throws, his creativity. Flash, I think the only way Brian Daboll can still maintain a head coach for the New York Giants is that, look, I have the chance now to work with this kid. He showed me some flashes, some potential of what he could be. He might as well try to keep me. I don't know. Because with Brian Daboll early on in the season, he was starting to lose faith in the team. You saw Malik Neighbors on the sideline. You saw him get into it with the offensive lineman in week 2 against the Dallas Cowboys. Does he keep his job? Because now we just heard the news about Brian Callahan. He's now fired.
I mean, Brian Callahan, look, just going to be real before we get to the next subject with James Franklin. I'm going to just be real. Brian Callahan had no business coaching the Tennessee Titans because they already had a coach. Because Mike Vrabel, he's showing you what he can do right now. And the thing that they were missing was a quarterback. They never could get that position right. And they couldn't just keep riding Derrick Henry to the damn AFC Championship and hopefully getting them to the Super Bowl.
And a mistake giving Ryan Tannehill that money after the AFC Championship because they felt like, oh, we got a guy, but the problem is you paid him this amount of money. You didn't pay him just because of what he did that season, but what you believe he could do for you in the future. And that was a mistake.
Yes, indeed. And right now, good news for you, Flash. They are number 1 in the NFC East right about now. So,
New England.
Yes, New England.
With the loss now, they're now number 1.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting excited about New England football again. I still think they're another year away. They still need more talent on that offense. Like they still need more. I still don't understand why they're not running Henderson at all. But whatever.
I'm thinking that he's not trying to run him out. I'm thinking that he's just not trying to run him too much.
If I swear a lot in a minute, right now it's bases loaded, top of the 9th with Freddie Freeman at the plate right now. I'm not happy right now.
That is not good.
Oh, I don't know if y'all talked about it. I know you're going to talk about James Franklin, Champ. Sorry to digress. Did y'all hear the comments from Tua?
Oh, yeah, we talked about that earlier.
I didn't like what Tua had to say, honestly. Even if it were true, though, even if they were true, though, what makes you think you can make those types of statements given your play? Tua, the reason why they kept you, the reason why they paid you this amount of money, because they wanted to move on and build a franchise around you. Remember, Flores, it was reported he wanted Herbert in that draft. And despite, and if you look at it in retrospect, it would have been the right choice because Herbert certainly has more ability than Tua.
Oh.
But for Tua in this situation, it's looking bad. He's starting to lose credibility and respect from his team. So, but unfortunately for Miami, you're stuck with him because you paid him this amount of money. And even if you decide to trade him, he doesn't have enough trade value given his durability issues.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. But, like we said earlier, I think all of us agree, right message, wrong messenger, especially if you're not going to meetings and stuff like that. But, right message, wrong messenger,
Exactly.
If he was playing well and he was doing everything he could and he was Baker Mayfield, everybody would kind of like be saying, okay, that's your job as the quarterback. But, when you're not doing your job, you throwing everybody. Look, what's so funny about Tua? They gave him the nickname Tua turn the ball over. So, and he's living up to it every single week. So,
Yeah,
it's just last week. I think this lady gave him that name, Tua turn the ball over. So, yeah, see, he's been terrible. But at the same time, look, he's right. But at the same time, look, if you ain't doing too much, to help the situation, then you need to keep quiet. But I digress. Let's get to the. Let's move into college. Thoughts? Let's be quick about this to keep this under 5 minutes. What are your thoughts about James Franklin being fired? Anybody who wants to go first?
It was time. I'm sorry. Even though Penn State, look, champ, we had this discussion before about the UCLA game. Okay, no shame losing to Oregon, double overtime game, even though it was at home. We know James Franklin's record going up against top 5, top 10 teams. Or top 25 teams, doesn't have the greatest record. But then to lose on the road to UCLA, in which they fired their head coach, Deshaun Foster, after an 0-3 start, Nico, for somehow, some way, he's been playing out of his mind lately. And then now you lose to Northwestern. So Penn State finally decided to say, you know what, James Franklin, we appreciate your contributions, but it's best for both parties to part ways. In other words, enough is enough. They can't take it anymore. This is not accustomed to Penn State football. Unfortunately, and to make matters worse, they lost their quarterback, Drew Allard, for the rest of the season because he got hurt in that game against Northwestern. So even if Penn State doesn't do anything this season, you might as well just try to move on and go forward. I hope for 2026 for Penn State, don't just hire a head coach just because the name cachet. Hire the right type of head coach that can try to at least be involved with the culture and try to make the most out of it. Because you look at Bill Belichick now in North Carolina, it is getting disgusting. It's as disgusting as Flavor Flav's teeth. That's all I'm going to say.
That's disgusting.
That is disgusting.
That's disgusting. That's third world ugly right there. That's disgusting.
Yeah. In the great word, what's that movie that Robin Givens was in? A Raging Harlem. You remember that movie? In the beginning of the movie,
so.
He looked at that dude's face. He said, "Oh, that's dog." But James Franklin, look, I think he's going to have a job pretty soon. I don't know who they're going to hire. So I don't know who they're going to hire. I mean, there's rumors. I don't think Kurt Signetti is going to leave Indiana.
He'd be stupid to leave Indiana.
Because I'm not going to go to where I'm the underdog every year. And if I win 10 games a year, and make it to the college football playoffs, it's a fairy tale. To right about now, if I go to Penn State, I'm up under the gun every damn year. The heck with that, especially in Happy Valley, right about now. Especially they're still trying to ease their way into. They're still trying to find that one coach that's going to make them forget about. I really think they're trying to find that one coach that's going to make everybody forget about Joe Pa. I really believe that. They're searching for that coach who's going to make them forget about Joe Pa, who they can say We won a national championship with this guy to heal all those wounds from Joe Pa and Jerry Sandusky. They are wanting those wounds healed, and they want a championship now. And they see the direction that everybody has gone. The last couple of years has belonged to the Big Ten. Ohio State, then Michigan won one, beat Alabama on the way to it, ended Nick Saban's career, then went on to win the Natty. Then the very next year, one of the best offenses in the league, redemption story for the ages with Ryan Day. They was able to win. So I'll say this: they're looking for that coach to make them forget about Joe Pa. It's my opinion. Y'all can tell me I'm wrong. I'm not above reproach, but I really think the reason why they were so impatient with him is because they are looking for that one guy to make them forget about Joe Paterno and kind of erase the sins of the past. And until they get another natty to make them forget about that, to say, here's the coach that we can build a statue upon and we can build something upon, I believe they're going to constantly be searching for that coach.
Well, they better not hire Urban Meyer.
I mean, look, it's high risk. In college, it's high risk, high reward. I mean, and I'm not so sure that he can coach these guys, these new guys, especially with how it comes out that he was coaching the guys in the NFL. Because if he was doing that, if he was kicking players in the NFL, you could just imagine what he was doing to people who he had power over. But I digress. But it's high risk, high reward. I mean, I don't know who they're going to hire. The big rumor is Kurt Cignetti. You know, there's rumors about Nick Saban possibly coming out of retirement, which I doubt Miss Terry lets him come out of retirement at this point. But, you know, I digress. There's rumors about Brian Kelly. There's rumors about a little bit of everybody. But I really believe that they're going to go and find another coach. But I don't think it's going to be this big name that everybody thinks it's going to be. But I really believe that they're trying to heal that wound that Joe Pa and Sandusky left. They're trying to heal that wound, and they're desperate for it. They're desperate for it. So that's why I believe that it was easier for them to go ahead and fire him after 3 straight losses. Damn, Flash, you over there, man. You over there having you gonna be all right over there, man? Man. But yeah, I believe that. What are your thoughts, BRL?
Long. It had to be done. I think it had to be done at this point. And I mean, and then on the rumblings as well. The student bodies are rumbling about James Franklin. Obviously, the media is rumbling about him. I mean, just 3 straight losses like that. It was long overdue, and it had to be done at that point because, like PSP said, it's one thing to lose to Oregon like that. It's one thing to lose Oregon like that in a really close game, in a really good game, your home turf. But hey, we can handle you losing to Oregon like that. UCLA and Northwestern and back-to-back UCLA and Northwestern with the reputation you already have. Nah, at that point, you got to go. Well,
he out of there.
Oh no! You sent him to third. Okay, so 1 out. Game tying run is on second. Runners on second and third. Game winning run is at the plate.
Okay.
I'm glad one of us can enjoy playoff baseball. So you know what? What the heck?
I believe when that idiot got suspended for them, I told you at the beginning of the season, when that idiot got suspended for them 80 games, I said the season over, bro.
Had to be a ground rule.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Jurickson Profar suspension was not the worst thing. It was the start they got off on. And I said something in the chat. I was like, man, this is like the start from hell. And I think Bra was like, no, calm down. Y'all are going to be all right. And I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, this ain't like our normal slow start. Because we lost Ronaldo Lopez, and it's just the way the team looked. And then I don't know. I did not have a good feeling about this team. Even when they were able to get to 500 a couple times, I was like, I don't know about this one. And sure enough, it was like, you know what? That 2025 is a mulligan. Punt it. Come back for 2026. You're gonna have money to spend. Improve that team, and just take it into 2026.
It's Jackson Churio at the plate.
Well, if there's anybody at the plate, you would want it to be him.
All right, we got one run in. Okay.
He gonna make me turn into this baseball. He gonna make me turn into this baseball game, and I just need Crush Kamari to give me 10 more yards on this parlay. I'll at least get a 5 out of 6, and I'll get some money. I was off. I needed Kyle Pitts over 3.5 receptions. He got 3.
2 outs. One runner on third.
All right. Do you want to give your opinion about that, or you want to keep enjoying the game, brother?
He deserved to get fired. That's my opinion.
Okay, then. I won't go any further than that. All right. On to Kirk. We just had a talk about Kirk Cignetti and that Indiana Hoosiers team. Now, look, let's just be clear. Although they have not brought a championship to that state, it's been the year of nap time. Let's just be all the way 100. It's been the year for nap time. You had the Indiana Fever. They took the damn Las Vegas Aces to the limit. You had the Indiana Pacers in the finals, and the Indianapolis Colts are in first place in the AFC South. And now you have Kirk Cignetti. They just had one of the biggest wins that the Indiana Hoosiers have had, arguably, in their history. Is this the new norm for the college football playoff system, where you have these Cinderella type teams that are coming in and rebuilding and making a run at it? And unlike last year, can they compete? Can they complete this fairy tale story this year? Can you see them doing that?
Beating Oregon this year gives me hope for Indiana. Beating a team like Oregon gives me some hope. It gives me some hope. Not saying they're going to, but it gives me some hope, because say what you want about Oregon, they're not necessarily the big game known university in their own right. But Indiana going on the road and beating a team like Oregon as high as they were ranked, that gives me a little hope. As far as the norm, yeah, I think you're going to get one or two of these teams every year in the college football playoff. That's kind of like whether they're a Power 4 school or they're like one of these like one of these like Central Florida types that like come out of nowhere and maybe get like a lower seed. I think with the college football playoff and the way the college football is now today, you're going to get at least a couple. You're going to get at least one or two of these teams every year in the playoff, just because even when it was BCS, even before they started the college football playoff, when you look at the top 12 teams, you always had those one or two that was like, how the heck you get ranked so high? But then you look at the schedule and you look at the resume and it's like, oh, I see why you got there. So I don't think it's really going to be that different. I think you're going to have like one or two of those teams every year. Just because I feel like at the end of the day, the college football playoff should put the 12 best teams in there who are playing the best football at the time. So who's playing the best football and whose records show that. So I think it's the norm. You're going to get one or two of these teams every year. And it's okay. And as far as I still don't think they're going to win the Natty. But would it shock me if they won a playoff game this time? Nah, not this year. I think them beating Oregon gives me a little bit of hope that they could actually win a playoff game this year if they got back.
It's a commercial right now. So it's runners at the corners right now. Contreras is up. Dodgers just went to the bullpen. I look at college football is kind of going the way that college basketball started to go a handful of years ago, where you're gonna find these teams that kind of like, you're gonna have your Ohio States and your big school teams get all this talent, but then you're gonna have that one team that's been together for 4 years. and just has that right chemistry and good coaching and just kind of that. Yeah. So you're going to have that Cinderella team where it's not just talent, it's just chemistry and good coaching and good play. And I think that's because of the parity. That's what I think is going to, like where college basketball, you had, the one and dones where, yeah, you're going to have your top Kentucky and everything else and those type of teams and Dukes and whatever. But then you're going to have your rando, James T. State University that's been together for 4 years and they know how to play ball and they know how to play together. And I think we're going to see that more and more in college football.
PSP.
Regarding James, Indiana being Oregon, yeah, I think right now Big Ten is now the new landscape now for the college football as far as the national championships. At one point, it was the SEC, but now, I mean, with so many teams, and plus USC coming off the victory against Michigan, 13th ranked Michigan, so you have to take that into consideration. I like it because again, Indiana's like the real under a Cinderella story. I didn't really have many expectations for Indiana. I don't know if y'all had, but I think I agree.
All right, let's take it from the big city down here to the country. Is Bama back? And I will ask you this question first, BRF.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think they never fully left. I don't think they never fully left. The part about Alabama that always had me worried was Kalen DeBoer and his coaching ability, as far as not necessarily his coaching ability, but being in this realm in the Southeastern Conference. And it's like I think he's gaining confidence in himself as an SEC coach to where he can go out and beat all this talent with the talented players that he has. And I think he's starting to gain that confidence. I don't think they ever left. I just think he was like that last little bit of just getting them over the hump and over the top. And now I think you might be really getting ready to see Bama just take off and be a force. So I don't think they ever really left. I think Kalen DeBoer was still to an extent a bit of an anchor, but I think he's starting to kind of throw that away a little bit. So I think now I don't think it would shock me at this point if Alabama just went on a huge just won. I'll just say it. It wouldn't shock me if they just won the rest of the regular season games and then go into the SEC championship game. It just wouldn't shock me at all.
Okay, well.
It's hard for Flash at this point, man, but I understand. Hey, BRF and BRF, y'all would know. Y'all had to finish watching that bucket of Bills Falcons game. That wasn't easy for y'all. I'm watching the Commanders game as we speak.
Yeah.
Base is loaded now.
Okay. Who at bat?
Just a single wins the game.
Okay.
Come on.
I'll wait till you till that game concludes and then ask you about the question about Wisconsin football. But we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that.
But Alabama, they're starting to come back, champ, because ever since after that loss against Florida State, they've turned it around. Ty Simpson has looked like a serious Heisman contender. And not only that, they've beaten some good teams. They beat Missouri last week. They just beat Vanderbilt. Unfortunately, to UNBRF, they beat Georgia. So again, it's all up to Kalen DeBoer.
What people don't realize is this: he's on the same path that Nick Saban was on his second year of college football. He's on that same path. Remember, the only game, if it had not been for that darn super team in the form of in the form of Florida, the Florida Gators with that Tim Tebow team, he would have won the national championship his second year. He would have won the national championship his second year. But I believe that loss, but when he lost them in the SEC championship, I believe that, hey, that just took them back. That just like that was the opportunity that the SEC was looking for in order to put Florida back in the BCS Bowl. But I believe that if he would have won, that would have been it. If he would have beat Florida that year, we would have very well probably been talking about them three-peating. Because that was who was standing in their way, was Florida. And lo and behold, next year they beat them. But Kellen DeVore is on the same path that Nick Saban was. And like I said before, I think I said this on your show, PSP, or one of the shows. The first year, every legendary coach has had a bad year his first year. First year, every coach has had a bad year. I mean, it's very, very hard for you to come in and follow a legend and have a great year.
Fuck.
Well,
damn.
He struck out. Okay, that's all right. Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
But it's all right. Shit, hey, you can just imagine how we would have felt if the Falcons would have lost. But that's just. But yeah, but he's on the same trajectory. He's on that same trajectory. To be honest with you, that Nick Saban was on his second year. If he goes to the playoffs this year, that gets a lot of people off of his back. If he goes to the Natty this year, that gets them completely off of his back.
Kind of like Ryan Day.
Kind of like Ryan.
Yeah.
Even less than Ryan Day. Like I stated, he went to a national championship with Michael Penix Jr. and lost against a better team against Michigan. Then
really good defensive team.
Yes. And then he came to the SEC. It's his first year. And guess what? You give away some games that you're just not supposed to give away. And like I always said, it's because you don't have your claws into that team yet. It's the only coach that I've ever seen come right off the rip and just say, hey, we're going to win this year, and they have a chance to win this year, and the talent and the coaching is on. The only coach that I've ever seen come into a program where they already had talent and just say, you know what, no matter what, we're going to win the national championship this year, was Dennis Erickson. It was Dennis Erickson in 1989 when he took over for Jimmy Johnson at the U. And that was just because they were so damn talented. When the talent pool, it was just the U and everybody else. So, and he has a harder path than Nick Saban. I don't think people understand that. In the NIL days, in the transfer portal days, it's a revolving door. A lot of players, when you look, sometimes, and thank God they changed the rule, sometimes you didn't get out of spring training and have the same roster. Sometimes you didn't get out of spring training and have the same roster. Some guys in that spring football game, I'm not going to start this year. I'm going to get the hell out of here. So, hey, he has it a little bit harder. Guys are throwing money. And look, man, these Texas schools, look, man, you throwing Lamborghinis at me. You throwing hundreds of thousands of dollars at me. You throwing millions at me. It's hard to compete with that. Very hard to compete with that. Just to go to Alabama and sit on the bench for 3 years. So it's harder. Back when we was younger, about 5 years ago, you knew who the next man up was. You knew it. We was fortunate to know who the next man up was as far as our quarterback at Georgia. Every year, you don't know who that next man up is because the person who they may have recruited, who is the freshman of the year, might transfer. Something like that. You just never know. But I really think Bama is back. I think that first game was a mishap. And guess what? I think they could very well make it to the college football playoffs. And
especially, and look at Florida State now, because ever since that last loss to Virginia, they've been falling apart lately.
Yeah.
What are they 0-3? They're like 0-3 in conference play now?
Yeah, they 0-3 in conference play. It didn't got bad now. It didn't got real bad. Let's move forward to the Flash. Flash, this is your segment. What is the state of Wisconsin football?
There is no Wisconsin football. Wisconsin football right now is, we talked about. I forgot it was you. I think it was Champ that you mentioned something about you had an identity and then you.
God damn it! Oh, I'm sorry. Jaden Daniels fumbled.
You're fine. I get it.
Good. Everybody did it.
Everybody's invested tonight.
But Cliff, I'm just saying, why would you go for a 3rd and 1 on an option play when you know it's raining?
That's Cliff Kingsbury for you.
Come on.
No,
wear some gloves or something.
When you go from a team, like a team that is known for running the football, good defense, offensive line, essentially, you're churning out running backs. And all you need to do, and honestly, you've actually had some decent skill position players at wide receiver, and then you go completely away from that and you go to an air raid offense. All you needed to do was add a little bit of a passing game and recruit better at the quarterback level, and you possibly have a national title contender maybe on a really good year. And you went completely away from that to an air raid offense, and now it's just terrible. Like, Ohio State's coming to town next week. It's going to be 152-3. Like, it's terrible. Like, it's so bad. It's just
like that.
There's no other way to really put it. Like, it's just, yeah. Like, there's just.
Like that. It's gonna be like that Gas House Gorillas game versus Bugs Bunny.
Yep, it's just gonna be terrible. It's just gonna be terrible. That's all I got. There wasn't much more to that than just that. Like, they need to fire. They need to get rid of them. Like, they need to go back to Wisconsin football. That's what gave you a shot in the first place. And now, like, everybody thought it was going to be cute to, like, oh, we'll go to the air raid offense, and no.
Everybody can't do the air raid, just like everybody can't do the run and shoot offense. The run and shoot offense was special when you have the personnel and when you have that's your style. But when that's not your style,
you can't do that.
Up north schools aren't even known for that.
Nope.
The run and shoot. I mean, the whole thing about it, especially back in the day, is just like, no, you got to be able, when you go up north, you got to be able to bang. So so that's not even up north football, but yeah. Let's see. All right, real quick, Crown Jewel review, match of the night.
John Cena, AJ Styles. It's not even close. John Cena and AJ Styles, not even close. I mean, for me, that's a top 3 WWE match of this year. Between that one, Rhea and Io and Evolution, and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. Those are the 3 best matches I've seen this year.
Better than WrestleMania?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything you want to add, PSP?
No, I'm just sweating like crazy because, again, Jaden Daniels fumbled that football, and now Chicago has a chance to score or win the game with a field goal.
Damn. It is raining. It'll rain on your side, for better or for worse. Anything you want to add to that, Flashback?
No, I just want to say I actually kind of, you know what? Two thoughts. I think that should have been their retirement match for both of them. For AJ Styles and John Cena. Like, that would have been the perfect way to go out for both of them, I think. Like, I mean, I could think of other ways for them to go out, sure. But that was such a great match and so memorable. And that if they would have, like, if John Cena would have been like, I'm calling it early. And then AJ Styles like, you know what, dude, I'm right behind you. And they would have walked off onto the sunset after that match. I'd have been totally happy. I would have felt good as a wrestling fan.
All right. What do y'all think about the betrayal of the Vision against Seth Rollins? Was it too early?
Well, it wasn't necessarily that it was too early. They had to speed it up because Seth Rollins got hurt.
Wait,
Seth
do you think
Rollins
that's
is
legit?
I think it's legit. I actually think it's legit this time because he was holding his arm like legitimately throughout parts of that. Yeah, like during that match against Cody, his arm was like stuck to his side like a good portion of the end of that match. I don't think he's faking this one. I think he legit hurt himself here. Because my thing is like I don't know if they go this route if it's a fake injury. Not with Braun and Bronson turning on him. I don't think they go this route if it's a fake injury. I think it's a legit real injury. I think they're kind of I think they're ready to pull the trigger on those two. I really do.
I heard a great theory that I would love if they did this.
Big fella, I gotta get out of here. Y'all take it easy.
All right, thank you, PSP. You're always welcome here, brother.
Thank you, brothers.
All right.
I'm gonna make
PSP, guys.
I'm gonna make this point, and then I got to get going too. But I heard a great theory that because of the Heyman Punk relationship, this was set up by Punk all along. And Punk will be the new leader of the Vision.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Just to screw over Seth. Because of the Heyman relationship with him.
Kind of like the whole Team Angle thing.
Because who won the #1 contendership for the world title just on the same night?
CM Punk did.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I mean, I didn't think about it. Oh, damn.
So just throwing that out there that because look, Seth, okay, I know where you're getting the arm thing from. Seth took a picture with a fan. He was in a sling. Okay. Seth wouldn't. Here's the thing. Seth is a savvy enough wrestler that anything that he doesn't want on film or in a picture, he will make it so. He knows it. He's smart enough to know that. Considering what he just pulled off this summer.
Yeah, the high stuff this summer.
Yes. So I'm just saying, you know, just saying this is, you know, let's see how this plays out. I think this is interesting. I mean, we also got Brock Lesnar kind of lurking in the background too.
That's too much.
I think it's Lesnar that's joining Heyman, to be honest with you.
I would love it if it was Punk though.
I don't know. I think a Paul Heyman Brock Lesnar led Vision with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker would be just, oh my gosh.
I know, but I love the idea of Punk turning quote unquote heel because I don't think it would be a heel turn for him. I think people would still cheer for him, even if he took over the Vision.
Hey, that's a good theory. Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I like this, and like I stated, that's a good thing. I'm hoping that follows through. Yeah. I'm hoping that it does.
I
really am, because that would be real good. That would be real good.
What did Seth always say? No matter what, I will never allow CM Punk to be a world champion. Well, I will not take credit for that theory. I saw it earlier today. I'm just regurgitating it. I wish I could give credit to the person that commented it, but I don't know who it was, but I would love that.
Hey, that is very, very fair. Just real quick. Less than a minute. We got less than a minute. Hey, with Alex winning the light heavyweight championship, is a super fight looming?
I think the potential's there, and I think there's only one place to do it. If you heck yeah, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna do Alex Pereira, and you're gonna sway John Jones into coming back and dropping back down to light heavyweight, you do it at the White House.
Right in front of the dome.
You do it at the White. I think you do. I think you do it at the White House. I think it's just. I think right now it's like the biggest. I mean, it's crazy to say the White House is like the biggest venue you could probably do for a fight of this magnitude, but I honestly God feel that way.
Yeah.
I gotta ask y'all this, man. Regardless of but look here, let's just be real. Regardless of political issues, we'll take that down. Well, wait a minute before I ask this. How do you feel about this, Flash?
What?
About Alex Pereira versus John Jones potentially?
I think PR's right. You got to do it at the White House. I think there's no other way to do it. I think every fighter that, we were there before, on whether John Jones would, at this point, I think John Jones is, he will fight at that as long as he's healthy. So
I think he's crazy. I think he's crazy if he misses the opportunity. Alex Pereira light heavyweight. I think he's crazy if he turns down that opportunity. I think, and especially with how Alex Pereira looked in winning the light heavyweight championship back, like he just looked like his usual pound for pound best MMA fighter in the world self. That's how he looked. I don't think there's a better opportunity. He'd be crazy to turn that fight down.
Hey, real quick, I'm gonna just be real. Regardless of political views, I can't wait to see this fight at the damn White House. I want to see, because what I'm anxious to see is how they're gonna secure this damn White House. Because I don't know how motherfuckers gonna be walking around at a fight during the White House. I don't know. Because I remember President Trump says that he's gonna have guys walking from the Oval Office in order to get to the ring. So that is going to be very damn interesting to see what happens right at the White House, at the nation's capital. So that is going to be monumental, regardless of political views, regardless of what you believe in. I think that is going to be monumental. And I can't wait to see how the coverage is going to be. I can't wait to see it. And, how they're going to have guys in the Oval Office coming out, how they're going to have guys in the locker rooms, are they going to have them in trailers, how the fans are going to be on the lawn of the White House. Are they going to shut down streets? Are they going to have fans to allow drones to come over? How security going to be? I cannot wait to see this. Like I said, me being a military guy, I can't wait to see how this security is going to be there. So yeah, it's a long night for PSP because they watch the Commanders just lost. So yeah, hell of a comeback though. But I can't wait to see how that's going to end up. But on that note, guys, we ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. Any final words for the people, guys?
On to game 2.
On to game 2.
Yep.
Be all right.
What else can I say, man? Shout out the Atlanta Falcons. This was like the biggest home game at the Benz in a few years, and to show up the way they did and get the job done tonight, that's huge. That's huge not only for the team psyche, but for the fan psyche. I mean, that tonight was huge, and to show up like that and to beat the Buffalo Bills, because fans were like, "Oh my gosh, what mood are the Bills are going to be in after they lost to the Patriots like that?" I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's the next game. Just come in, show up, execute. Y'all can win this game, and that was a big win. That was a big win. It kind of, that's the reason why I'm saying like they're a dark horse in the NFC, because of games like tonight are why I think they're a dark horse to win the NFC. Games like tonight.
Nights like this. But yes, indeed. Hell of a game. Hell of a guy. Hey, on that note, man, God loves you. So do we. We'll holler at y'all.